Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
it's a going. How is it going for you?
Good, little warm.
Little warm?
Little warm.
Yeah.
We're good. Got the fan blowing directly on me right now, so it should be all right.
Yeah. Intellivision Gamer, he was the first one in the chat over here. I don't know if you saw it, Bo. He said he'll be able to catch the beginning, and if we go long enough, maybe the end. You never know with me and Bo. We could be done in 20 minutes or 3 hours. We don't know.
Right.
Tony Sjogren, he showed up. It's so late for him. He's over in Europe there, and so he was here, and he'll watch the next day. So I want to make sure I put his up just in case he gives up after 2 minutes. But, and then I don't know what's going on here. We want the birthday boy. I don't even know what they're talking about. Bo, do you know what they're talking about?
My special birthday show, I requested that the Gaming Road Warrior and G. Parker not be here tonight.
Yeah. See, I was going to go with, I was going to say, and the Intellivision Gamer says, happy birthday, Poe.
Oh, thank you.
Kelly says, happy birthday, Poe.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike. He posted at, let's see, Intellivision Gamer posted at 5:38 p.m. our time. So over almost half an hour before we went. So yeah, he was the first one to post, but that's okay. That's okay. It's not a competition. No, I was going to go with and let people know, in case you didn't notice, it's just me and Poe tonight. And the reason for that is because Greg and Mike threw a big birthday bash for Poe, and they just didn't invite either one of us. They were like, they told me in chat that they were going to have this birthday party for Poe without Poe. And I said, that's fucked up, guys. And they said, well, then you're out too, dickwad. So here we are.
Well, my parents used to do.
Yeah. Decon 52 is here. Mike said, we want the bird. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, Intellivision gave it. He went to my channel. That's why I mentioned it first. So I'm kind of whipping through all these. Oh, Shelby, happy birthday!
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, cool Blue Origin shirt. Where'd you get that? Some crazy chick. I don't even know. Posted on Offer's channel doesn't count. What? Okay, baby. Yeah. So anyway, now I'm all caught up with the chat. Yeah. So. Did you have any big excitement that happened with the big birthday?
No, I don't like excitement. I spent the whole day trying to keep up with everybody saying happy birthday on Facebook because I always feel like I should do that, but then there's a billion posts and they don't show you half of them.
Right.
But my big day so far was we had dinner. That's about it. My daughter won't come back home till tomorrow. My mom's birthday is on the 10th, so I was going to go see her today, but I thought, well, my daughter will be home. We'll both go see my mom tomorrow.
There you go. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. I was going to say, now I don't remember what I was going to say. I was going to make some kind of joke about, but now I forgot what you had said that prompted the joke. So I'll just let that one go before I look stupid. Whoop, too late. Yeah, I can't remember what you said, and then I had something that was semi-funny, and
you gotta write this stuff down.
Yeah, I'll remember and be like, it wasn't that funny, so then I won't say it anyway. Let's see. 4th of July, 1776, the colonies declared their independence. 3 days later, Old Poe was born. Things went down there from there. That's a pretty accurate timeline. That's a pretty accurate timeline. Yeah. So yeah, just hung out at the house. That sounds like a good birthday.
Yeah, that's usually what I go for. If she demands that she take me out for dinner, I usually say Wendy's. And my boy does the same thing. Not only because we love Wendy's, but it's right out the road. We don't got to go 20 miles away to someplace fancy. But But
Yeah.
today was just dinner at home with two of us. So.
Yeah. See, Kelly and I, we celebrated your birthday by going out and spent some time at the Holiday Inn. Oh, wait, that was just work. Not as fun as you might think. Hey, looky here. Looky here. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you from the great cheese land. Yeah, Gideon. He's from overseas over there, too. It's early. It's not even your birthday there anymore. Your birthday,
man.
Your birthday has passed. Yeah. Yeah. Yep,
Yeah, it wasn't a real big, crazy week or anything here, as usual. I think I did my one video, which was the challenge video, and that was it. So that's about right for me. I realized that when I came out here and saw my headset was still hooked up from last Sunday, that I didn't come out here and do those great intros and wrap-ups that everybody loves so much. So.
Right, yeah. Now, Poe, this is a birthday greeting thing, so you got to read it.
Oh, I can't read that. I like to make the excuse. I have my phone here, and but yeah.
No. I'll help you out. Happy. Go ahead, Poe. You got this. Happy.
And you know it. Clap your hands.
Yeah. I looked at that when I said I would not be able to get that one. We'll just stick with the happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Gesundheit.
Gesundheit, yeah. Yeah, they might have some medication for that now. Some shots. It's funny because talk about language barriers. We got a new girl that's doing the housekeeping inspections at the hotel. And for whatever reason, when they do that on the weekend and the housekeeping manager's not there, I always have to help the new people how to learn the system. And now she doesn't speak a lick of English, 100% Spanish. So other than room numbers, I'm kind of just like, so we're Google Translate. Oh no. Greg got here just in time to see you get the clap.
Oh, Greg. I call him and Gaming Road Warrior the boys of summer. You don't see them summertime here on the show. They're out having a life and having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, what was it? Was it in The Fifth Element when Bruce Willis said, "Hey, I only speak two languages: English and bad English." That's me. I know it was Bruce Willis. I don't remember what movie it was. But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, it's the big birthday bash, and half of our crew said, "Screw it, we're not coming." But no, Mike and Greg both had family obligations, which we always say that's priorities.
That's what I always used as an excuse when I was growing up why people didn't show up for my birthday party. Oh, it's the 4th of July weekend. They're busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's my Tinker toys?
Yeah. I was reading a story, and this is reminding the situation we're in right now. It's reminding, and it's supposed to be a true story. I don't know, but apparently this guy was getting married, and he asked his dad. He gave him a list of his 50 friends, and said, "Hey, can you send out the invitations to my buddies for my wedding?" And it was a couple months later, and when the wedding came, only 3 of his friends showed up. And the dude was like, "Dad, what happened, man? I asked you, I gave you that list." And he said, "Well, I didn't invite him to your wedding. I told him, hey, he's really going to need your help. He's kind of in a situation. These guys are your true friends because they showed up to help you. The other guys," and it's kind of like this, Poe. It's your birthday. Mike and Greg are like, whatever. But I'm here for you. I'm here for you, buddy. So, but
I even got ripped off in elementary school. Remember, every kid would have their little birthday party, and you had us summer people. Screw you guys. You're not having anything.
Yeah. All right. Go out and have a good time. Great friend's 50th birthday with the wives, dinner and sports bar afterwards. Excellent. Excellent.
50? I did that a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about how many years ago I did that. And Greg, I think it was in the 50s when he hit his 50s. Yeah. But let's see, the overseas invited birthday party friend. There you go. There you go. There you go. So, and television is 50th this next year.
Oh, nice. He doesn't look that old, that's for sure. Not like me.
Yeah. Oh, Kelly's birthday, Christmas vacation time. So
Oh, yeah. Did they split your presents for Christmas and birthday? What a ripoff that is. Well, I kind of told you guys in a text message, birthdays weren't like it was a big deal at our house in that we did have a sit-down party, whatever we wanted. And the party was just cake and ice cream after dinner. So whatever we wanted to have for dinner, my mom would make it. And but as far as presents go, they really didn't go crazy. They went pretty crazy with us for Christmas, but for birthdays, a couple notable years. I was telling you guys, the year I got my green machine, that thing kicked ass because I knew it was better than my brother's big wheel. You know, green machine was awesome. And the year I got Castle Grayskull, which I got that He-Man, Beastman, Skeletor, and Man-at-Arms all at once. I'm like, holy crap, man. That was a huge birthday surprise. But then this year, you guys topped it because you had Greg and Derek with the ROG, and then you got me the Popeye Boston Scally Cap. I wish I had it here now to show everybody, but I can't wait for that thing to get here. So.
Yeah. We just got lucky with that, huh? Because
I usually see their stuff
saying that it came out, and then like the next day, we're like,
yeah, because I've ordered stuff from them so much that I get emails from them, but it's most of the time anymore I just delete them. I don't even open them, and I get text messages from them when they have special drops and stuff. And a lot of times I would see it on my Facebook feed, but I didn't see that Popeye one until that day. When I look back in their posts, I think like 3 days before they said this is going to be dropping at noon on Friday. Be there, you know. But I didn't see that. So I happened to see it that day. I'm like, holy crap. I love Boston Scally Caps. I love Popeye. What are they doing to me here, bastards?
Yeah,
something like that. Like I said, it's probably like that Freddy Krueger one where they're not going to make it again, you know.
Right. Yeah. And I told you in the chat, it was kind of funny because, you know, Kelly and I were talking when we went to El Paso last week. Said, man, I got to think of something to get for Poe. And I thought about the hats, and I thought, but man, it'd be cool to get you something Popeye because you like Popeye and all that. And then like just a couple days later, you're like, holy shit, look at this. And I'm like, it's on the way. But I knew, I told Kelly, and I think I said it in the chat. It's like, I got to tell you, I can't let it be a surprise because you were like, yeah, I'm going to hold off on it. It's like, he's not. He's going to hold off for a day, and then he's going to buy the thing, and it'll be already on the way from us. So, and then the next day they were like, we're almost out. And it's like, oh, shoot, Poe would have had that FOMO.
Yeah, that's the problem with those things. You know, they had that with another hat of theirs one time, and it was one that it wasn't just a one-time thing, but they only come out with it once a year. There's certain series they come out with in the summer and one in the winter. And I thought about it for 2 days, and that was like a day too long. They were already gone, you know, by the time I decided to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. All right, Greg, have a good time. Have a good time with the grandkids.
Have fun.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's
what do you
awesome.
Think? What do you think about the new games on the NES Online? They gave us a bunch. I don't even know what they put on there.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if I looked at the NES one. My boy and I played the Four Sword Zelda online since he's down in Texas and he has his Switch Lite now. So we played Zelda the other day. That was for the Game Boy Advance on Nintendo Switch. I know they were supposed to be having Perfect Dark come out a week or two ago, I think, for the N64 part of that. So I'm glad he's on the family plan with me now. So we played some of the Luigi's Scare Scraper multiplayer together and stuff like that. So that was cool. We were actually going to play a little bit today, but didn't end up getting to it. And then he's got the infamous Sunday night GI parties that they do in tech school where you have to clean up everything. You know, he has that coming up at like 7 o'clock, he said. So.
Nice. Yes, that's coming up here shortly. That is coming up here shortly. So, let's see. Mark Ryder, Cobra, Triangle, some Famicom game. Might be like Indiana Jones or something. Yeah. Solar Jetman, probably the best one so far. Yeah, I didn't even look into it. I'm pretty bad about that. And what are we at, the 7th now? And the big Steam sale ends on the 11th. I haven't even looked at that stuff. It's like, I'll find out something awesome came out, and I missed it.
I'm about positive Solar Jetman. I got that from Video Games Monthly one time back when I still subscribed to them. But a lot of those games, I cleaned them and put them in to make sure they turn on, and they went back on the shelf. I always said I'm going to get to it, and then, you know, I don't get to them. So.
Yeah. Let's see. N64 Matures Perfect Dark and Turok.
Turok, that's right. Yeah, that was the other.
Yeah. But
I want to play some Perfect Dark. I want to play some GoldenEye online too. So get to that.
There you go. Do we want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, did I not put that thing up? I didn't put the newest spreadsheet up for. Do we want to talk about the arcade challenge? Well, some of the people that played are still here.
Yeah. Arcade challenge. Yeah, that went a lot of participation. I think a lot of people had fun with it. I know I did. For that game, though I knew about it, it's pretty much new to me. So I had a lot of fun.
It's funny. I'm a total idiot. I did upload the spreadsheet. I was just looking at the console instead of the arcade. There we go. There it is. The big Gyruss. Yeah, I could have swore I had put this game on my arcade, but then when I went to play it, it wasn't on there. So I had to download it and install it and everything. And I felt like this is another week where every time I played it, I got a little bit better at the game.
Yeah.
And I kind of ran out of time. If this was a 6-month tournament, I might have got $100,000. but I was improving each time. So.
Yeah, definitely. The video that I made, at least for the show, those first 3 games I ever played of it were way down there in Derek territory. No, I'm just kidding, Derek. They were pretty low. But now I found with the arcade, and I don't know if you tried it, it worked better for me in 4-way, even though it's an 8-way game. I got stuck a few times with the 8-way. Really? Yeah, and that didn't seem like it was happening with the 4-way. But when I looked it up, it was an 8-way in the arcade, but it wasn't a standard 8-way joystick that they used for Gyruss like we have. They had a rounded bottom to that joystick, so that whenever you move that 8-way, it was able to push down 2 contacts at once, almost like a spinner action.
Oh.
So yeah. I didn't know that. I looked it up to see, what was going on there. Yeah, it was definitely it was an 8-way, but a different style. So.
Yeah, that's I played it all in 8-way. I never even tried it in 4-way. That's probably why I barely beat you. No.
I did try. Yeah, I tried it in 8-way a few times, and a few times I went getting kind of stuck, wouldn't move, and all of a sudden start going again.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I know a couple times I did that where I'm like just being an idiot, but yeah. But I came out here kind of like I don't know. I didn't come out here every day, but I think 3 or 4 times during the week. I came out here late in the afternoon when it's like 120 in the trailer, and I play one game and then go back in. But every time I beat my last score, so it was like, okay. And then I got lucky. I had that 74-4. I made it to the second time when you do the challenge stage or whatever, the freebie stage.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'd never made it that far before, so that was pretty cool.
yeah. That thing there is like you gotta try to make sure you get every single one of them for that 10,000, or they just kind of screw you. If you miss even one, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Let's see. He was in 8-way and he was stuck a few times. I don't know. I mean, there was a couple of times I might have, and I thought I just was messing up because I do remember a couple of times where I was like, how did I do that, man? What's going on? And I just thought, okay, I must have been holding the stick in the wrong spot.
Yeah, it's quick. It's quick, but it's long enough to get you killed. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a great time with that game, and I thought in Television Gamer, he saw my score. He said he was gonna. So I fully expected I'd get up this morning and have to update and drop myself down to 4th or something. But
I was gonna at least try to beat the Gaming Road Warrior, but I didn't get to play again last night. So once it got close to that time, I'm like, it's too late to start a game now because it's gonna be over in a few minutes. The challenge.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can. People probably already read the whole thing, but yeah, I got 74-4, and Television Gamer had a 63-2.
Very
Mike
nice.
57-1. Poe with your 53-050. Greg was 52-040. For a long time, I was hanging at 40 or 52 even. So it was funny because I think you were winning at the time, and Greg was in second and I was in third. We were within that 1,000 points or 1,050. That's pretty awesome. Retro Bliss got 44-6. He played that on his show, right? Live stream. Derek with 31-5 and T-Dog snaking Derek for his bottom run. Bumping Derek. And then, of course, everyone who didn't play, I should have put a line at the bottom underneath this T-Dog. I should have had a line here that said 0 Mike's Gaming Gala. He scored higher than me last week. So, but yeah, dang it, where'd my mouse go? See, I have to move my mouse to the other screen so it shows up on the video, but then I get confused and think my mouse is actually on this screen. And I'm like, why is it going off the left side of the screen? Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a good tournament. And I do enjoy that game a lot. And I was saying it's like Galaga beats Tempest and had a crazy love child. It would be cool to see if you could play it with a spinner, how that would work out.
I ended up seeing it when I was looking up the game. People were talking about that in a Reddit post from years ago, and somebody said that would kind of be like cheating. I guess they did put in a special config to do that, and they said it's just so easy at that point, with a spinner.
Yeah. And let's see. I did put it up there, and I don't want it to get too far. Hollywood Polo showed up, and he asked. I think he must have got here right after I said I didn't get anything on the Steam. He asked about the Steam sale, and he must have posted that right after we had said that. I didn't even look yet, so I got to get on it. But yeah, I wanted to mention it. Mike says, "Can I use my NES Gyro score from the Retro BlizzCon?" What was it? That depends on what it is.
He was the ninja.
Oh, was he? What was the final score? You know?
Like
Mike will tell.
8,922 billion.
As long as it was 74,399 or less, you're welcome to use it. No. Did I mention no? That's amazing, though. What stage are you on by then? Because I was on like stage 8 when I did that 74, and I thought I was doing fantabulous. I'm like, dude, I'm probably in the Hall of Fame at this point. I was expecting to get phone calls, have magazine articles written about me. But, okay, let's see. I'm just trying to catch up. If you got stuff to say about it too, Poe, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. flea market.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool. And the guy that made that game is also the guy that made Time Pilot, so I thought that was cool, little part of the history.
Yeah.
And then he got canned right after he made that game, so he went and started working for Capcom after that. So pretty neat little history.
Time Pilot's one of my favorite games of all time. I love Time Pilot. And like most games, I am not nearly as good as I used to be. Let's see. Mike died at stage 29.
Ooh.
Wow. Let's see.
The game genie died or your character died?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh wait, they have the game Mountie in Canada.
Wait, we got an important chat up here. Oh, saying good things about me. Natural instincts and military training that makes me good at video games. That's how, if you looked at the rest of the spreadsheets this year and all of our little challenges, you wouldn't think that good at video games part is accurate. But I thank you for the kind words. Damn, Poe couldn't even beat Mike Gaming Road Warrior. I'm always happy if I'm even in the same game as Mike.
Gaming Road Warrior is a natural. That's why he's the warrior.
Fantabulous. Good word, yeah. I try to work in at least one good word. Let's see. What is last? Just kidding. Just kidding. Les isn't here today. We shouldn't pick on him. We'll pick on him more if he shows up. But I guess we could go ahead and announce this week's challenge because we're going to go for a console challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and let's just go for Atari 2600 this week. I know, boo hiss. I love going with the old stuff. And it was another busy weekend. So this one's actually been sitting here for a few weeks just in case we didn't have anything. And we didn't. Bart and I discussed it 2 seconds before we went live, and we didn't have anything. So we're going to do Spider Fighter because I love this game. I mean, I've never played it before in my life. So, but it's a fast-paced 2600 game by Activision. This is actually my oldest brother's copy, and we loved this thing when we were kids, playing Spider Fighter. I even have the instruction manual. If I've got my brother's instruction, he's going to come kick my ass.
It's cheating. I'm going to have to figure this thing out on the fly while I'm recording a video. It'll be my first time ever playing it. So if you want to see a train wreck in action,
if you win, you can get this patch. Not from us. But
hold on, I got to put you over here, Poe. Just make you bigger so people can see this.
Remember, Activision used to give them sweet patches. I would have loved to have that one. That Spider. He's a fighter.
Wow. Derek says it's on the Game Genie. Pretty easy to get far as well. Yeah, I'll probably get to level 1.5. Whatever. If there's multiple stages, I don't know. I don't know how that game works. I've never played it.
We're going to do regular difficulty. That is left difficulty A, regular game. And we'll do, well, you have your choice here because this difficulty switch on the right is either for straight pellets or guided pellets. We're going to do straight pellets. So, difficulty A.
Difficulty A.
There's always people that ask, what are the rules? And I'm like, I don't know. I just turn it on and play it. Just like with Gyrus. Casey, the Intellivision gamer, was asking, he was actually in the settings of MAME for it. I'm like, I didn't even think about that because now we don't have that ability on the arcade. Somebody is making a program right now in the Discord.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was funny. Didn't he say in the chat? He's like, he didn't even realize until he got to like, oh shit, this is a five lives game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Cannabis Kid says Chili's restaurant chain released an official sequel to Burger Time. I did not know that. Poe should play one-handed since he likes to play it. He doesn't play video games. That's how he watches videos on the. Yeah, there you go. It'd be much different than how he uses his phone on the toilet. Yeah. One-handed.
You got to be careful because sometimes you might wipe with the phone. So when you're done, put the phone on the sink or something.
Then the very next post after that was, yeah, I saw it. Now, which was it, Mike's Gaming Gala? Did you see Poe using his phone one-handed on the toilet, or did you see the Chili's restaurant Burger Time? I'm going to go with the toilet.
So
Poe,
is it
check for cameras?
Is it baby back rib time? Burger rib time with Chili's? Baby back rib. Chili, baby.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Yeah, you can win free food for playing it, he said. Derek said, ha ha ha. I can't win free food because I suck. That's what Derek said.
Oh,
I added that part on myself. Let's see, the sequel. Gideon says, I do love free stuff. Sadly, I can never do that. Yeah. That's interesting. I'll have to look that up. Where do you play it? Is it online thing? You can play it on is it a web app kind of thing, a browser game?
We have the other sequel, Bart. Don't you? Do you still have the other sequel on your arcade? The ice cream, Peter Pepper's.
Oh yeah. Peter Pepper's Ice Cream Factory, whatever it is. I
Yeah.
suck horribly at that. Holy shit! If you want to see a lowest score ever, we should make that game a challenge because I'm pretty sure I got a negative. If I'd have paid, it would have spit quarters out back to me and be like, dude, go get some therapy. Yeah, that game, I don't know if it's hard or if it's just because I'd never played it before. And
That's probably a big part of it. I'd never had either whenever iArcade was still around and they were doing the big sale right before they closed their doors. I bought that, I'm like, oh, I want that.
yeah,
And then, like you, I played it, tried it out once or twice and was immediately killed.
yeah. Oh, Derek, I missed one. Sometimes I go to click on a chat. Here's my excuse. And then someone else types. So the chat I was clicking on moves up and I send the next one first. It's like, whoops. Ice cream game sounds fun. It's hard. Two really cool retro things that are given away on my channel very soon. Just don't know how to yet. It's easy. You just mail things to Bart Huff in Van Horn, Texas. That's the easiest way to get things away from your channel. Oh my goodness! Great time again. Greg is
Yes, I love Diner. It's one of my favorites in television games. Speaking of Diner, here's a vagina. Oh, hi, Greg.
Oh, the kids are kind of settled down. They're watching a little TV. It got kind of quiet. And Joe said, I know you're dying to go down there and get on the show. So this is probably short-lived. As soon as I hear screaming, yelling, and running again, I'll have to take off. But I thought, what the heck? I had this computer on down here. I thought, well, I'll just click the button and make it go. Hello, Mike.
Gregory
Becker.
Gregory Peck. Remember Gregory Peck? He was a famous guy.
Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
38 people watching the show, and then Greg popped in. It's down to 12.
No, the show is actually going better than it ever has without me and Mike. And I thought, do I dare even make an appearance and screw up their role they got going? Because you guys are doing good. I did miss, though. I just got to ask, so what is the weekly challenge this week?
Doing Spider Fighter on the Atari 2600.
Spider Fighter, okay.
Fun game.
Where'd you put that link at, Cannabis? Go ahead, guys. I just wanted to ask that before it's rolled off. But Spider Fighter 2600. I should put that in the. Unless Derek, are you getting it? Did you put that in the Discord yet? What the challenge is? Slacker. So, yeah, Cannabis. If you tell me where you put that link, I will. We'll put it in the chat here, so everyone can see it. But, yeah. Now, Greg, we didn't go over the pinball stuff yet. Did you want to go over that while you're here?
Well, like I said, I don't want to interrupt your routine. I did get one started. I think this is week 4, and we are doing Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
And do you have the spreadsheet for last week's, Mark?
Snoopy.
Noopy.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't on the bottom this time. I managed to squeeze out post now. I didn't get a chance to play that one much, and that's a shame because that's one of my favorite FX tables.
Yeah.
We had some good playing going on there, though.
You know, it's funny that Decon 52 had a great game, 35 million. And I had that 16 million game. And that I probably played 10 or 12 games this week. That one was the highest, obviously, because that's the one I used. But, or that's the one that was on. Most of my game, and I think that was the second game I played. I got that 16 million. Every other one of mine was lower than your 7 million. It's like I could not score except for in that one game. I had a really fun, and I thought I figured something out when I got that, and I could never repeat it.
I've done the same thing. It's the same thing with that 7 million score I got. I just kept thinking, well, surely I can beat that, and I thought surely I can get up there and take care of Papa Brad or Mike at the Gaming Roadwear. I thought, hell, Mike ain't no good at pinball, but I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you and Mike were really close. What is that? 14,000 apart. That's pretty crazy.
14,000 actually 154 to 140. That's actually only 14,000 more.
Yeah.
It's a very narrow margin. Yes.
That is great. Yeah. See, I figured out in that one where I got the 16 million, instead of trying to hit the doghouse and start a main mode, if you hit that ramp to the left of it like 4 times, it starts that feed Snoopy and all them dog bowls come on the screen. And you hit 2 or 3 of those, you get what is it, 250,000 points or something, or 500,000. You get 500,000 points. You get one of them is 500,000, 2 is 1 million. But you have to, after you hit a bunch of them, hit it in Snoopy's doghouse. And I did that a bunch of times in that one game, and I just got a shit ton of points. But I could never repeat it. I'd get 2 or 3 dog bowls, and then I drain. It's like, son of a. But, yeah.
Well, the reason I'm not on the show tonight officially is because my son and daughter-in-law are in town and from Wisconsin, and they with the grandkids. But my son all through college did nothing but Jeffrey is not the one you met. He's the oldest boy. He all through college he did nothing but hang out at a place where they played pinball. So he came down and pretty well wiped out most of the high scores on the Stranger Things yesterday. Yeah, we're having a good time. So anyway, so there's the results of this week. And do you have something that shows the total overall?
Yeah, let me get that. Are you talking about this one?
Yeah, there we go. So, wow, GT Decon 52, he's taking the 4 all the way across, and the 3 and the 2. Wow,
yeah, we've got a pattern going there.
Yeah.
Now, these are the rest of these over here. Oh, okay, I did have my mouse in the right spot. The rest of these over here, I don't know how it sorted these. The ones that are all 3s, because you guys have been tied the whole time. But I know T-Dog, he came in 3rd one time. Derek came in 3rd, or 4th, I mean. 4th. So he was the top one of those. And Derek was the first week, but then he chinched out the second week. But, yeah, so it's been pretty close. There's been other things going on here, but, yeah, we're kind of getting a pattern going where Decong's won all 3 weeks. I came in 2nd. Classic Rock came in 3rd. But that can all change. That can all change with one good week and one bad week for us. So,
yeah, and not to mention the fact that we've said this numerous times. This leads you into a playoff scenario that there'll probably be 2 weeks out. And now that Greg is here, I beat you at pinball this week. Okay, okay. You get some bragging rights. But anyway, long story short, it's anybody's game in the playoffs too, because we're going to make it tough. I mean, it's going to be, we don't know yet, but it'll be tough. So, but this week is Brothers in Arms. Let's see, I did make a banner. I can pull that up, Bart. I think it's right here.
Yeah.
I put a now here's the thing. I wish I'm going to go in my old man mode. Come on, Zen Studios, pull this out of your butt. Well, the code for this one was, you'll see it going across the screen. It's N1. Let me see it when it comes across again. N17R. And so I intentionally get out of it to make sure I can find it, to make it easy for you guys. And when you look at that, if you type in the 1 or the letter I, and on here you can see the difference. Even StreamYard knows the difference between a 1 and an I. But on Zen's game, if you put in an I or a 1, they look the same. So I experimented with it until I made sure that it is not the number 1. It is the letter I. So it's in November, India, and then 7 Romeo. There you go. I can't do that with a crap. But so just remember that it's the letter I. And then the password is what has always been, the show, and it's up and running.
Chili'sBurgerTime.com. I couldn't find it. I went looking for that when you posted it on my channel. I couldn't find it. Sorry. But that's cool. Chili'sBurgerTime.com. Check that out. Yeah, that is the O and 0 and the 1 and I. It's hard to tell in there. You don't know until you have to verify.
I used to always get those gift cards for Nintendo because it was cheaper than paying for it, the online thing. And but they're smart enough to know that there's certain things they exclude. I's, O's. There's a bunch of different characters that they exclude. They're blacked out on your screen when you're trying to put one of those codes in. So like if it says 1 and you're not sure if it's a 1 or an I, it doesn't matter because like I doesn't work on their little keyboard thing. They have it blacked out, so you can't mess it up. Yeah. Now I tried. I did get a gift card for the Microsoft Game Pass, and I'll tell you what, that was my fault. I kept putting that code in there, thinking I was gonna, and it wouldn't work, and I was just getting madder and madder. Well, a Z is not a 2. But when I was reading it, it landed in like 57Z, and I kept putting in 2 because it just looked like, my old mass just looked like a 2. And finally, I put the Z in. I said, maybe that's a Z, and it worked.
Yeah. See, I did something like that years ago before I met Kelly. I put in for one of those mail order brides. And I typed it. I must have typoed in the code. I mean, the guy they sent me was nice enough, dude, but it just didn't work out. I asked for my money back. It was a mess. But yeah, you got to be careful typing in those codes.
Absolutely. Hello. That was good.
What was Greg talking about being blacked out on the keyboard?
Yeah,
when you'd entered in the codes, yeah. Greg was blacked out when he went looking for the code. That was the problem.
It is kind of cool on their part. When I first looked at their little screen that comes up, I noticed certain letters weren't using. Well, they do that on purpose to keep people from calling them up, doing what I did and saying, "This son of a gun doesn't work." Well, you moron, that 2 is a Z or that Z is a 2. Well, Nintendo's keeps those similarities. Make it you can't.
They didn't always. They learned from their mistakes. When the NES came out, a lot of games didn't have the battery backup back then, so they did the passwords for everything. So games like Kid Icarus and all these games, if you ended your game and went to do something and came back, you had to write it all down. I remember having paper there and writing it all down, and then trying to remember. It's like, well, holy crap, is this an I? Is this a L? Is this and was this an 8 or was it a B? I don't remember. And you would go through that whole thing trying to figure out which letter you had wrong, and next thing you know, time's up. You're not allowed to play Nintendo anymore. Your time's up. I've spent an hour and 45 minutes trying to put in the code.
Well, And just to close on the pinball tournament, it's up and going. It's going good, but I want to address something you're talking about. Made me think about it, Poe. Different scenario, but somewhat the same. The kids were here, and they took off for a while this afternoon. But Travis was here. So I thought, hey, the little ones are gone. We can kind of do something about them falling over, saying, we want to play your game, Let the adults play the games. But anyway, we decided we'd play a little Xbox because he hadn't got a chance to play on the Xbox with me. And I put in Gears of War and wanted to do a 2-player game. Whatever happened to just turning it on and saying I want to do a 2-player game? I turned on that Xbox. Now, mind you, it's a 360 game, the Gears of War. It was backwards compatible, but it's what I got because I like the game. Well, we decided to play a 2-person game, and it said player 2 is not logged in. Well, Travis had to go form a Microsoft account and log in on my Xbox in order to just play a 2-player. Well, that took 35 minutes. And by the time he got done logging in, we got to play for like 2 minutes of Gears of War, and the kids showed back. So, I don't understand this. Everything now is driven online. You can't even have your son come over and play a simple game, a 2-person game, without having to even have to set up an account. So just seems strange to me. If somebody knows a workaround for that, please let me know. This seems crazy.
Yeah, all these different games anymore on the PC anyway. It's like, oh, you got to get an EA account. Oh, you got to get a Microsoft account. Oh, you got to get a. Yeah, it's just Jesus Christ, and then heaven forbid if I ever have to get back onto one of these things because I'm just like through, and sometimes I'm like they'll be like make up a password, so I make something up that I think is going to be easy to remember. And then 2 years later, when they're like, "Hey, you need to log back into your whatever the fuck developer account," and I'm like, "Oh, certainly that would be this
Right.
password." Oh, it ain't that. So now I'm doing. Okay, set up a new password and all that crap just to get back into the game that I paid $50 for and want to play. It's like, how about that? I give you money, you let me play the game. The end. We don't have to have all this,
Well, you mentioned that signing into EA. Another thing I've noticed that's really odd is my computers will stay logged into Steam. Most of them, they recognize you're using the same system. If you log into a new machine, it'll say, I want verification. It'll even send you a text to your phone number to make sure. Hey, I'm good with that. But some of my stuff, when this FX first came out, I wanted to use I didn't want to use Steam. I've told that story 100 times. But so I log into Epic. Well, the thing is, every time I log in, every time I start up Epic, I have to log back in. But here's the other thing I did that was strange. When I first got my Epic account, there's completely different companies, but I log in via Steam. So when I open up Epic, I have to go to Steam and log back in.
oh, jeez. Yeah.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah, all this stuff is kind of nuts. And I don't know, my son that came in from Wisconsin was talking about it's cool I got that Xbox. And he said, the PlayStation, he would have preferred the PlayStation. He said he preferred the PlayStation, but he said he likes the Switch, so that's what he's got now. And he said the Switch is limited on stuff that it'll do. As far as there's certain games you just can't play on the Switch, but you can play on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox. So he's looking at getting into something else, and I think he's going to go ahead and get PlayStation. It'll make you guys happy.
Yeah. And I haven't had a console, unless you count the Quest, which is kind of like a VR console, but that's the closest thing to a console since the Wii. When I got the Wii, and that was more for the kids, because I still had kids at the house when the Wii came out, but that's the last console that was bought in our house, and the original Xbox was the only Xbox that I ever had in my house. And then I think my boys have one of the Xboxes, one of the newer ones. I don't know which one they have, but they play Xbox stuff too. But yeah,
there's pros and cons to it. There's things that a couple of times I wanted to throw it out the window, and a couple of times I've been happy. I'll tell you what, I just want to say this before I got to go because I can hear it already. So noise. But I did a video. I think it was the one that released today. I did a shout out to Mike because I flew Microsoft Flight Simulator from out of Hawaii, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, I watched that.
Your altimeter is easy to set because you're pretty much at sea level in Hawaii. But
Right.
But that whole video was shot on the ROG Alley. And remember, I don't have the extreme ROG Alley. I've just got the standard model, same one that Poe's got now. And if you watch that video, it's that. I mean, what did you think, Bart? I think it went pretty seamlessly.
Yeah.
I mean,
It looked pretty good.
yeah. I mean, for what it is, I mean, yes, it looks better on my 4K screen on the TV, but it still looks pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty good.
It's kind of weird playing it handheld, though. I mean, if you notice my landing, I mean, compared to what I could do in X-Plane 7, I was all over the place. But I did manage to set it down, but it was hair-raising.
Right? Yeah, Kelly was liking your approach at like a 47-degree angle towards
I
the
know.
runway. She's like, is he going to land in the field or is he going to go to that dirt road, is what she said. Is there a dirt road over there he's aiming for? What's he doing?
Well, I was going to go around and come in straighter, but I thought, I'm going to practice my rudder skills and try to kind of crab it in. And I pulled it off, kind of. I mean, if you're like Bart, if you're really good at it, you can say something bad about me. But if you're just the average guy, I want to ask.
I'll tell you a funny thing, Greg, because I watched your other video that you did, the video before that when you were playing the Flight Sim 2020, and you were flying back to Harrisonville, and it was after work. I woke up at like 2:30. We had a nasty storm that night before, and just I opened the front door and I couldn't see across the porch because the dust was so bad. I'm talking 10-foot visibility. Never did fall back asleep because I'm wondering what's something going to blow into the house, what's happening.
Sure.
So and then you start watching Flight Sim, and same with Truck Sim. Sometimes the engine drone will put me to sleep. And so I fell asleep while I was watching your video. And then I woke up right when you were doing it. Kelly's like, back it up. And she made me replay your second approach when you flew through the trees.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you got to see this. I'm like, what do you have me watch? And I'm like, oh, that was pretty good.
I don't know if I got it recorded or not. I'm going to have to check. I've tried different variations since I've got this, and that was these last two were the ROG Alley handheld. I don't think it's come out yet. I think the next one that is scheduled to come out is the ROG Alley in handheld. Yeah, I think docked. It's docked. I wanted to let people see how it looked docked. And then I did one, I think, where I flew in on the Xbox because I hadn't tried it on the actual Xbox. And the only bad thing about those is, I think I'm using the controller on the Alley and the on the Alley, but and I did on the Xbox. But I think I can hook I think the yoke will hook straight up to my Xbox. I think it can hook up to. So I might try that. I'll tell you what, flying with an Xbox controller is horrible.
Yeah, I was going to ask how that goes.
Yeah, it's horrible. But I wanted to ask Poe, have you had a chance to play with yours much? I wanted to see how.
Not a lot yet. Another busy week. And this week I might do have a doctor's appointment, but aside from that, the wife goes back to work this week for another week of the summer vacation run, and then she'll be off again the week after that. So maybe can sneak something in there. But she was off this week, so we were doing stuff every day, or at least trying to.
Yeah, I've got 2 doctor's appointments this week, so it's going to be busy. I'll get behind on stuff, but yeah, I'll tell you what, though, I'm having a ball. Except the little kids came to town and keep me from playing games.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you guys had a good roll going. I'm going to let you get back to it because they're leaving tomorrow, so this is the last night they're here. So I should spend some time with them and not be a grouchy old bastard that says I'm hiding in the basement. But because they are being a lot of fun and they're getting older, and makes my patience last a little better. So.
Yeah, little kids are fun, but boy, that can be a handful.
I'll tell you what's really been good. This is the last thing I'll say is everybody knows my little dog Betty, the Chihuahua. The last time they were here, of course, the kids were younger, and Betty was just a puppy, and now she's going to be a year this month. And they have enjoyed her, and she has enjoyed them. She has been really good with them, so that's been kind of fun watching them play and get along like that because they wear each other out. So actually, I think I'm maybe cheating here, but I think if I go up there in the next 10 minutes or so, they might be getting ready for bed. So I might get some free time.
There you go. There you go.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. I didn't mean to jump in and run your rhythm, but good to see you both. I just thought I'd jump in when Cheryl said, why don't you go downstairs for a few minutes? And I said, okay.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Tell Cheryl we said hey. And have
good.
a good evening with them grandkids.
Have a good night.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Is he gone? Okay, he's not in the green room. Go ahead. You can say it now. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, dear. Yes. So she told him, come on down here. Come on down. Get on the show. Get on the show.
Yeah, that was
So were you saying you got some big plans this week? You're going to play some stuff? You're going to make some videos?
I hope to. Tomorrow I'll be going to see my mom, take my daughter up there, and I have blood work tomorrow. Thursday is my doctor's appointment, so hopefully one of those other days we'll get to some stuff.
Yeah, I got to get back into some stuff too. Because I think last week I did the challenges and then I did my Thursday night live. Ho shows up for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that sucked too, man. I looked and it said on there that you were on. I'm like, that was like an hour ago. Crap, how did I miss that? Any other time I had my phone in my hand the whole time, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you got there. I think you got to see at least the end of that crazy game of Creature from the Black Lagoon I had.
Yeah.
And 300 and something million, just amazing. Livewire was up there. He had 100 million. I'm like, man, I'd love to be able to beat that, but it's never going to. And I tripled it. It's like, holy shit. And then the next day, Ed from Digital Victory, if you guys don't watch Digital Victory's channel, you should check it out if you like pinball. He texted me all excited. He texted, he goes, sorry, man, I had to. So I texted him back. I'm like, what, you beat? How many of my scores did you beat? He goes, I got over 1 billion on Creature. And he said, can I give you a call in a little bit? I want to tell you, I figured some stuff out. So he did. He called me about an hour later, and he was all excited because he figured out some stuff. If you watch that or watch the replay of my live show, I got it to where you light those film lights, which is the goal, and then you get that multi-ball after it. But then I had no clue what to do. And you know, Poe, as well as anybody, you get into a multi-ball, you don't have time to be reading the DMD. You're just like
right.
trying to stay alive. And while that multi-ball is going, there's some shots that you need to make, mostly just get it in the snack bar, and you can get a lot of points to get the jackpot. And I know because I got it up in the pop bumpers. He said, yeah, you get in that pop bumpers, you can get your jackpot up to 50, 60 million. I said, yeah, in that game, I had it up to 100 million, but I didn't know how to collect the jackpot. And he's like, yeah, and there's a way to make it so it doubles your score on the whole play field. So you get up to 100 million and then double it and then get the jackpot once. There's 200 million. Do it a couple of times, man. So Yeah, he was all excited. He called me. You know, you've watched his videos, right, Bo? Where he does the full table breakdown, and he basically gave me a over the phone version of one of those private. Here's how you beat Creature, and I'm like,
that's cool.
I should have got out a pen and paper and been writing stuff down, but yeah, that is. It had been a long time since I played Creature, and that's one of my favorite Williams tables. You know, I get defensive sometimes with the Zen tables and frustrated with the Williams fanboys, but I do tell people in all those chats when I'm saying stuff, some of my favorite all-time tables are Williams tables. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Monster Bash, and Medieval Madness. I just think are phenomenal. But then for every one of those, you got 10 fishtails and freaking Whirlpool. They look good and they have some good elements, but I just don't like the tables, you know. So, but I love those, and it's been a long time since I played it, and it was like, man, I was having a great time with that. Let's see, Mike's Gaming Gal and Wick will be wife and daughter free for 10 days. Woo, bachelor time in it. Let's see. Someone mentioned Creature. Been jonesing for some silver ball slapping. Yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon is an awesome table. Whoever gets over 1 billion of Creatures of God, yeah, that's amazing. Like I said, I got 300 and something million, and I was like, holy crap, that was a game to end all games for me. And it was amazing, and he blew me away. You know, he tripled my score. But I expected it, you know, and it's all in fun. I root for everybody to beat me as much as I try. I like to win these tournaments, but if I have a great game and Bo, you have a better game, I'm like, good for you. That's awesome. But I mean, I'm still waiting for that to happen with pinball. I can do it. But Poe gets his revenge on me when we play some of these older Atari games, especially, and NES games where I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then Poe schools me, and then I pick a pinball table the next week that I know Poe doesn't like. So
they've all been pretty cool tables. But so far with the tournament, I've only given it like one morning each, like 3 or 4 tries, and then that's it for the week. You know, I never get back to it, but I need to play more pinball.
Now, Darren, you talking about my pinball game that I was wanting to stop, that 300 and whatever million? I was getting tired. It was at the end of my stream, and not trying to make excuses. I had a headache from hell about 20 minutes into that stream. And at one point, I was going to end the stream, and I looked over, and I was like, I've only been on for 25 minutes. And there were quite a few people that were chatting, and the chat was flowing good. So I'm like, I'll be all right. Man, I was hurt. Headache just killing me. And but yeah, so Mike's Gaming Gala is definitely going to participate in some Spider Fighter. All right. We'll look for your score. Is your daughter going to play in that one too? Because I'm sure she can beat Derek. Derek, do you think Mike's Gaming Gala's daughter can beat you? Yep. Okay. At least you're honest. I totally didn't save that Derek yep for just such occasions. It can be go ahead, Poe. Ask Derek any question because we know the answer.
All right, my neighbor has decided to fire up their lawnmower right near me right now. That's why I muted the mic. But
hey, Derek, can you go to Poe's house and tell his neighbors to shut the hell up? Yep. Okay, he'll be right over there. Mike says maybe she'll play. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. She did a real good job on that other game.
Yeah.
She was sitting pretty high on the list for a while there, and then people near the end started getting a little better and played a few more times. And then you get the Poe and Mike that played Saturday night after I go to bed. Cheaters. And yeah. Now I thought, and I'll ask the rest of the group here. So Mike, Greg, feel free to speak up. But I was thinking, we always end it Saturday night at midnight, I'm thinking let's change it to Sunday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern, because that's when I get up at 4 o'clock. So you guys could play any time during the middle of the night. When I get up, I'll just post the last scores. If someone wants to play a 3 o'clock in the morning game, they're welcome to.
Yeah.
Because that's when I make the spreadsheet, is at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. But I never look. I don't look at the times. If someone would have posted a score at 2 a.m., I wouldn't have known. I'm just like, oh yeah. But yeah, because Derek's game. Because Derek knows it doesn't matter. His best score is going to be Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and every game after that he's going to suck. So it doesn't matter when his score's coming. But yeah, no. As far as I'm concerned, we've never been really strict on that stuff anyway. But yeah, so unofficially, if someone posts a score and I see it first thing Sunday morning, I'll post it. If they don't, if they post it after I'm already at work Sunday, it's a little late. It's a little late by then. So Derek says, yep. He's putting quotes on it now. I'm not just recycling his other one. Yeah. But yeah. So Spider Fighter, what's it? If you had to say what it's similar to, is it similar to anything else? What would you relate it to?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You just got spiders bouncing all over the place, and you're going back and forth shooting them. So it could be a space game, but it's not. You're in a garden killing these spiders.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Mike. It's not like there's a prize on the line.
Right.
Unless you get in the big pinball tournament, then Greg does get a trophy. And right now, DCOM 52 is looking like the inside track on that trophy, but you never know once the playoffs hit. But Greg does buy a trophy. He's given out 3 or 4 of them already. I think 4, because I think he did 2 before, and then Champagne Room got 1, and then G Gage got 1 in the last one. So I think he's given 4. So yeah. Kelly's saying no about something. I don't know what that's referring to, but we'll put it up there. So, like Centipede, Derek says, Kelly says no, and he says, yep. Okay. Yeah. But, yeah, I got to play some other stuff. It's been a while since I got on and just did a regular the 2-player Tuesday stuff. Kelly and I haven't been, and this week Kelly's working tomorrow, and then she's going to El Paso with Shelby on Tuesday. So 2-player Tuesday will be kind of. Oh, she's saying no to the spiders. Yes, Kelly has a bit of a arachnophobia. Yeah, it was funny that day we took those friends of ours to Midland so they could catch their flight. The girl Claudia, she had a little, it was kind of cool, like fluorescent green spider in her hair, just a little guy. And Kelly saw it, and she started to, and then she remembered that how much she hates spiders. And she's like, "Oh, come get this." And I'm like, "Well, how do I get this spider out of her hair without either smacking her in the head or pulling her hair?" I'm like, "Why are you calling me over? Her husband's right there. He can do that." I didn't want it to go down into her hair, and then so I quick grabbed it. But yeah, let's see. Not like Centipede, more like Phoenix or Demon Attack.
Right.
But more frantic. Yeah. Yeah. You've never played that on your channel, have you?
It might have. So many things to do.
You were describing it. I was like, it sounded kind of familiar. Like maybe I saw you talking about it at one time.
I think I might have played it a few years ago.
Yeah. And usually by about the second or third day after one of your videos, I'll do enough heavy drugs to get it out of my head. And I just black it out. And me
too. Sometimes I go back through because I'm not sure if I already did a video on a certain game, and I'm like, oh, I guess I did,
Yeah. And, I'm starting to think about that with our challenges and stuff, the arcade challenges, because every once in a while we're like, oh, maybe we should do this game. Wait, did we already do that game? Shoot, I haven't been keeping track of all of our challenges we did. Mike got me this. Where'd it go? It fell off of here. Dang it, I had it mounted on here, and then it fell down, and I can't find it now. Dang it. Dude, it did play great music. Where did it go? Oh man, it fell. It's in the dark down there. I can't see it. He got me one of those tin signs for Robotron 2084.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally cool. I'm gonna mount some on the pinball down here. I'm gonna order some more of them and stuff. And I was thinking, man, we should do Robotron. And I'm like, did we do Robotron? I think we played one way in the beginning, but I don't know if it's when we were doing this, inviting everybody in. I think we just kind of did a little,
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, some of them were just kind of like, I think you did Qbert at one point just for the hell of it. Might have been even like the same week we did something else, but it was before everybody was getting in on them.
Yeah. Kelly says already ordered. I told her, wait, I think I got a Donkey Kong. If she ordered all the ones I put on the list, because I was going to go through and decide, but they're pretty cool. They're on Amazon for like $12. No, she said there were only 2 left on a foam motor, Amazon foam motor. There were only 2 left. But Mike did say he was going to get me this Robotron one around my birthday, which is in March, but they were out of stock, and they just came back up, so he ordered it and had it shipped out to me. So she said they're $8, but yeah, I don't think you can get the free shipping. I don't think they're Prime enabled, and I think it's like 3 something shipping for them or something. So I was rounding to like $12 with shipping and everything. But yeah, Joust, Donkey Kong, Joust, Time Pilot, and was Rampage still in there, Kelly, or did I get rid of that one? I might have pulled that one off because I was going to get 3. She said Rampage. But they're neat. They're neat little signs. I wish I could find that dang thing. It fell off and went straight down. You'd think it'd be right here. But I gotta get some tiny little screws because this is only 1/4-inch plywood on the side of this, so I don't want to put old. Normally, I'll use 1.5-inch drywall screws for everything I ever do.
Right.
I'll buy a 5-pound. Well, shit. When I built my big theater, and I had downstairs was a big movie theater with the 10-foot TV screen, front projector, and all that stuff. And then upstairs was my arcade where I had 2 pinball machines, the arcade games, 3 arcade games, and all that, slot machines and all that shit. When I built that, I bought like a 50-pound box of drywall because I was drywalling the whole thing and doing all that stuff myself. And I lived off of that box of drywall screws for like 10 years. Everything I ever put together, drywall screws.
Right.
But, so if I put them in here, they'll stick way in. There's nothing inside this box really, because the machine is run off my PC that sits down here, runs all my other stuff, my flight sim, my driving sim. So the only thing that's in this is basically just holding the TV screen up. That's the only thing that's in this whole box. So anything below about there, it wouldn't hurt anything. But my luck, I would have to, you got to get wires to the buttons and stuff. And I'd reach in there and just freaking drywall screw the shit out of my arms.
Right.
I'd go back in the house with tourniquets on my arm because it's bleeding so bad. But yeah, let's see, $7.50 shipping for all 4. So wait, what are we talking about? I dozed off listening to Poe. Watched a Cool Toy video about a Quartercade Zoltar machine. Yeah, I've seen something about that Zoltar machine. I don't know if it'll make you big, but yeah. But they're neat. God, I wish I could find that thing. It's really cool. And Mike sent it to me, so that was cool. It was a little birthday gift. But go ahead and talk amongst yourself. Oh.
Yeah, those Altar machine, that was a pre-order a while back from New Wave Toys. Since I ordered stuff from them before, but yeah, that's cool. I got the email when they did the pre-order discount thing on it way back when, and now they're shipping. But like everything else now, there's been a few people report that not everything came in the box for that thing. So it's this little Ziploc bag that they have the extras that they send you in, and a lot of people aren't getting that little baggie with the extra parts in it.
There you go. Look at that. Look at there. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually, it's funny. It must have hit. I still have a little, you can't see it because the steering wheel's blocking. Oh, this right here, a little bit you can see. It's one of those little metal coat hanger things that you can hang on your wall. I used to have two of those mounted here when the PC was inside the pinball machine. That's where I put the keyboard when I was playing pinball. I set it on these little rope, coat hangers. So I got to take that off. But and then I'll put some more of those. And then I had the mighty Halloween Massacre paper tin sign.
That's cool.
But I had that here, but it fell off too. I just used some of that metal tape and made a circle of it, which it'll hold these signs up to about 110 in here, and then the tape's just like, I'm done. It's too. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. What do we got going on? Digital Victory. You know what? I think he has a proximity thing or some kind of sensor on YouTube. Whenever anyone mentions his billion-point game on Creature, he gets an alert, and so he decided to pop in. Yeah, Ed, I was just telling him about your big game, your big game, and how you called me and gave me some tips. I still haven't been able to get in here and play because I've been working all weekend. And by the time I get home from work, it's already in the 1,000-degree level and out here. But yeah, it's funny because usually I saw that you were here, Ed, because Derek, I saw this with all his big typing, DV in the house, and usually I just ignore Derek's typing, but because he used all those, so then I saw you were here. Yeah, got it figured out. Yeah, he's got people listening. He's got spies, and they'll be like, "Dude, they're talking about you. Billion points, Creature." And yeah, amazing. I was telling everyone how I felt my 300 million game was phenomenal, and then it lasted a day, and he put a whooping on me. But he shared his secrets, so it's worth it. It's worth it. He seems to think I'm going to beat that billion. He's got more confidence in me than I have in me. And even if I do, I'll get like I can't remember your exact score, Ed. Was it 1.2 billion or something like that? I don't know. I'll beat him by like 100 million, and then the next day he'll have 2 billion, and he'll be like, "Just text me, sorry, man." And then I have to go figure out one of the tables that I knew I was ahead of him and see what happens. Because, yeah. So, now, hold on, Ed. I thought we discussed this, that these tips were for me. You're not supposed to tell other people how to get a good score. That was only supposed to be for me. Now Poe's going to throw up a 3 billion.
Yeah.
And with this hint right here, it's all about increasing the table multiplier before starting the multi-ball. Derek is going to get 13 million with an M. That's what Derek's going to score because of that. Derek's like, I've already scored higher than that. Yeah, you'll be going for that table multiplier and get negative points. Like I did on the Burger Time ice cream, get negative points. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Mike Skatengello is still here. Apparently he has nowhere to sit because he has laughed his ass off. That's the table Black Knight. Black Knight, man, I suck at Black Knight. I thought I was better at that game until I played it on VPX one time, and then I was really bad at it. I was like, maybe I was delusional and just fanciful remembering. It's like, but yeah. So how's things going for you, Ed? Did you come in here just because it's Poe's birthday? I don't know if you're aware it's Poe's birthday. Everyone else in the chat has brought him a present. So whatever he sends, Poe, you cut me in because I'm selling it here. I'm selling it. Yeah, Black Knight 2000 is where it's at. Yeah, I think they had that Black Knight 2000 at the arcade when we went up to see Greg, and he took us to that arcade. And me and Kelly and Greg all played in that tournament, and Greg was trying to think that he was better because he made it further along in the tournament. But I think I've said it on the show before. Once you're out, once you got bumped out of the tournament, you could play any of the tables in the whole arcade for free that weren't currently being used for the tournament. So he was told he had to play against these other three people on this particular table. Kelly and I were going around playing everything we wanted to play. So I just let him think that he got further along. I tanked on purpose. I just launch and drain. I said, hey, I got a good friend named Derek. He taught me this. And then I'd let it drain. Oh, Pixeltorium taught you. Now that makes sense. I got it. See, Kelly made the mistake of saying, well, I learned this from Digital Victory. And they saw her play and they said, no, you didn't learn anything from Digital Victory. But, yeah, let's see. Yes, he did. He got you a gift, and it's a great tip on how to play the creature game.
Thank you.
Yeah, the black game. It's hard to play if you're short. Well, yeah, Kelly has the problem. Kelly has a lot of times is because how much shorter she is than I am, especially the Mike's Gaming Gal. Yeah, just the tip, the glare from the back glass. And I think Greg was talking about it last week with some of the games. They'll dim the back glass. You can get that anti-glare glass for the top of the playfield. But when we played in that arcade in Phoenix at Castles and Coasters, Kelly was having a hell of a time because she's like, I can't see the glare. The back glass was covering 80% of the playfield for her with the reflection. And so I'm like, do you want to sit on my shoulders? But I don't know what I can do for you here. But yeah, it is tough. And that's part of the reason, I built this table. If you watch me when I play live and stuff, it is a little low for me, but I tried to make it a happy medium so Kelly can play. So it's between full size and dwarf size is what we got here. Let's see. Mike's Gaming Gala got Poe some maple syrup and Stubby bought Canadian beer, but he's got to pick them up.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. But Poe, we're like hitting everything this year, right? We what shows did we do? Were we on live on Christmas?
Oh, Christmas Eve, maybe?
Christmas Eve. New Year.
Was it Christmas? Yeah.
I think it was Christmas Eve. And then New Year's Eve. And
of
then
course, Father's Day and Mother's Day.
Father's Day, Mother's Day, your birthday now. It's like anything that's big, we go live. We go live. Road trip, Kelly says. Road trip, go up there for that maple syrup and Canadian beer.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go up there. Oh, yeah. Easter. Kelly said Easter. That's on Sunday, too. So, yeah. But, yeah, we'll go up there. We'll all meet at Mike the Gaming Gala's house for syrup and beer for Poe's birthday party.
Syrup in the beer.
We're not telling freaking Seaweed and freaking Greg, though.
Oh.
Guys bail. I don't know. I don't know about that Seaweed guy. It's been a long time since we called Mike Seaweed.
Double seaweed.
Yeah. we save that for when he beats us in the tournaments, not for when he comes in fourth. Yeah, I would love to go up there. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're due for a road trip. Kelly and I are going to be making a trip here shortly. It's making the best of a bad situation. For those that don't know, Kelly's father passed away at the end of last year, and we're kind of doing a family get together up there in the summertime and doing some camping. He was an outdoorsy kind of guy. He did a lot of camping, hunting, and all that. And thought it'd be cool instead of doing some somber kind of thing. Let's get together. Unfortunately, not as many people are going to make it as we would hope, but we're all going. Kelly and I are going up, and Shelby and Philip's going to be there, and then a bunch of other. We'll see her mom and all that. So we're going to be up there next month. So there's another maybe. I may not. I think on the 11th, I may or may not be on the show. So there's your chance to catch up, Poe, because we'll be at this event. So, I mean, I showed up from the Cardinals game, so I don't know. I won't be in the trailer, but I might be holding my phone for that one. But yeah, let's see. It says Zen screwed up with the creature table, or should I say FX really screwed up? Let's see. Really, you can't get with all the little collectibles. There's no creature statue on the creature Black Lagoon. Is there a creature statue on the Monster Bash? Maybe that's why they didn't want to double dip there. I don't know. If we hit Niagara Falls, you're only about an hour from me. Well, that's cool. I've never been to Niagara Falls. I don't want to hit the falls. See if Superman saves me. But let's see. Yes, that would be awesome to have a life-size creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Go up there. We almost, when Kelly and I were doing the work camping stuff, we were looking into it's a big water park up in Buffalo, and they hire work campers for the summertime, and you can live in your RV on their property for really cheap. It's like $150 a month. They charge it for the electric and water and all that, and then they pay you to work there. And we were going to do a summertime working up there, so we would be up in that area. And I thought it'd be a great way to see the New England area. Those are most of the states I'm missing. I've been to 44 of the states. Alaska and Hawaii are two that I'm missing. The rest are all up in the New England states. And then North Dakota. In North Dakota, I 100% blame on my parents because we lived in South Dakota for 2 years when I was in junior high school. Couldn't drive myself. Did we ever run up to North Dakota? No. And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say, I wouldn't put money on it, but I feel like I remember because I was in 7th and 8th grade there. No, 8th and 9th grade. 8th and 9th grade when I was there. And I'm pretty sure I remember my mom saying, we shouldn't go to North Dakota because someday that fucker Poe will be here. We don't want to risk it. Now, I know, Poe, you would have been in if I was in 8th grade, you would have been in 3rd or 4th grade. So I don't know how she knew it, but I'm pretty sure. And it stood out because my mom doesn't cuss at all. So that's why I remember it so fondly. But yeah, I've never been to North Dakota of all the states to not be to when you lived in South Dakota for 2 years. Look at Mike, been to 49 states, everything but Hawaii, and yeah, I almost said he's not American, but he is American. He's not United Statesian. He's wow, that's really good. That's really good. I would love to go to Alaska. Now Kelly's been to Hawaii. That's the only state Kelly's been to that I haven't. And then I have a few states that I've been to that. See, Robotron just fell again. Yeah, that's true. He's American, North American.
North.
Yeah.
North.
But I have Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. I have not been to North Dakota, Alaska, Hawaii, and Rhode Island. Rhode Island's fun, yeah. And but I've been to Massachusetts, Connecticut, some of those because my ex-sister-in-law lived in Massachusetts. So at one point we did a road trip up to her, but we didn't see any of the other New England states when we were up there because I was an idiot. And when I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Jacksonville, and I flew in P-3s. We tracked submarines, and the other East Coast base for P-3s and tracking submarines was in Maine, Brunswick, Maine. So I figured surely at some point we'll go up there for some reason. We'll do an exercise or something, and I'll end up in Brunswick. Never did. Never ended up in Brunswick. And when I got out of A school and got to choose my orders, I could have chose to go to Brunswick, Maine, but I chose Jacksonville, Florida, because I thought I'd rather be warm than super cold. But that freaking humidity killed me. Being in Arizona 90% of my life at that time, and then doing those summers in Florida, I'm like, this humidity is ridiculous. But yeah, so part of the wishes I go up to Maine, because that would have been cool. But hey, what's up, Simsbury? But yeah, and then the other, I could have gone to Hawaii or California also, Moffett Field, California, or out to Hawaii. But I was 18 years old. Travis was, well, I was 19 when I graduated A school. When I was choosing my orders, you picked it by ranking class, and I was third in my class. And the guy that was top, he wanted to go aircraft carriers and fly in totally different boat. And there were 3 sets of orders to all 4 of the places. So I knew I had my pick of where I wanted to go in P3s. But I'm 19 years old. I had a 3-month-old baby.
Yep.
I'm a E2 at the time. Like, I can't afford to live in Hawaii or California. It's like, so I kind of went East Coast for the sensibility. Plus, I knew I'd get to see Europe. But, and that's when I got screwed by lack of information. They knew I had the baby while I was in that A school, is when Travis was born. And they put me up for meritorious advancement to E4. And I turned it down because they said it comes with, you have to take a 1-year extension. And I had already signed up for 5 years, and I didn't want to make it 6. I was brand new, and I'm like, what if I hate it, you know? And so I turned it down. And then when I got to my squadron in Jacksonville, the admin girl, she looked at my records and stuff, and she's like, you turned down the meritorious advancement to E4? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to do she said, you signed up for 5 years. That is your 1-year extension. Would have counted. You wouldn't have had to do 6. You just would have had to make sure you stay in at least 5, which you already signed up for. I'm like, well, those sons of bitches. I mean, it took me, I think about 6 months later, I made E3, and then I did get E4 the first time up when I was eligible, and then I got E5 right before I got out. So the last 9 months I think I was E5, and of course Jason, when he went in, he did do 6 years, but he was in E6 when he got out after those 6 years. So I'm like, don't think I'm freaking, you don't outrank me. You're still my kid. But he knew a guy, one of his instructors made E7 in 6 years, and he was E9 in less than 10 as a Navy nuke working on the reactors. So that is a fast track to get advancement in the Navy, is to be a nuke. So I think Jason, the way it was all working out, if he would have stayed, which I'm still, he made his choice. He's working for SpaceX. He's doing great, but he could have extended for 2 more years and got like an $80,000 bonus. And he's like, no, I'm done. I don't want to be in the Navy another 2 years. And if he would have, I think he would have been E7 when he got out in 8 years. Because he was just making rank every first time up. And it's like, dang. And I don't know how they did it in the Air Force with, the Navy.
You had to test for it, and they wouldn't even let us test for staff sergeant unless we were going to re-enlist. And then you have to wait so long, I think it was so many years before you could test for the next rank, unless you got step promoted, which didn't happen very often at all.
Staff sergeant is what?
What's that?
Staff sergeant?
E5.
There was a time when I used to know them all, all the different branches. But as I'm getting older, I have to think about the Army rates, ranks, and the Air Force rank. I'm like, son of a bitch. I know the Navy one still, but yeah. I got to test for it, and up to E7 in the Navy, at least when I was in, it was 100% based on a test. You took a written test, and they just went by your scores, and whoever scored the highest, if they're ranking 1,000 guys in the Navy in your job and you're in the top 1,000, you made it. And when I made E5, it was kind of that way. They were ranking. A lot of people made E5, and a buddy of mine, the first time he took the test for E6, he didn't make it. He's a freaking genius. The guy was smart as fuck. Well, we found out a little time later in the job that we did, they only ranked 6 people in the whole Navy to E6. So his score, he got like a 98. And in the Navy, all the tests, 99 is the best score. You can't get 100. Even if you ace it, it's 99. He got like a 97 or 98 and did not make rank because they only made 6 people in the entire Navy. So it's like, dude, Dick got screwed. His name was Dick. He got screwed. And then when I made E5, I mean, I was good at taking the tests, so it was a breeze for me. But yeah, holy cow, I'm way behind on. Imagine if they could electrify humidity and just electrocute us all. Yeah, I would not have gone to Florida if they could electrify humidity. Movie Cell with Sam Jackson and John Cusack. I know the movie. I don't know if I saw it though.
No, not the name. I read the book before the movie came out. I really liked the book.
Yeah. Let's see. Anybody familiar with Little Lloyd Kaufman? No.
Who's Little Lloyd Chaos? Who was there?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't an officer, so I wouldn't have saluted me. And it's funny because Jason went into the Navy after he had his 4-year degree. So he could have went to OCS and became an officer, and he chose to go enlisted because of that big bonus, $80,000 or so. And sometimes, depending on how the Navy's going, I've seen guys make over $100,000 bonus for a 2-year extension. So he went and enlisted specifically for that reason, and then he got out after 6 anyway, because he said, I had enough. I don't want to.
Yeah, when you're young, you don't know really maybe what you want to do, and that's a long commitment. 6 years is long. I did 4.
Yeah, I did 5. See, and his thinking was he got out of high school, did 4 years of college, and then 6 years in the Navy. So now suddenly he's getting around 30, and he's like, I'm 28 years old when that 6 years is up, and I'm kind of only did one thing in my life. I went to college, so just more school, and then I was in the Navy for 6 years. He says, I don't want to be 30 when I'm coming out to the real world, because he wasn't sure he didn't think he wanted to stick. He was a nuke. For those that don't know, he worked on a nuclear reactor on a submarine, and they can jump right into a nuclear power plant. Those Navy guys, and you'll get six figures walking into it. And it's funny, they say they like the Navy nukes because guys can work 30 years at a nuclear power plant and they've never shut down a reactor. They've done drills, they've done practice runs, and they've done simulators, but they've never actually shut down a reactor and reactivated it because they just don't do it. And they said, by the time Jason got out of his 6 years in the Navy, first couple of years were training schools. He probably shut down a reactor. He was involved in shutting down a reactor a half a dozen times in the next 4 years because they shut those reactors down and bring them back online and shut them down and bring them back online more times than a 30-year career guy. So they're like, yeah, we want these guys. They do stuff with these reactors that we only read about. But he was like, I don't think I want to stay in the nuclear field. And he was looking at the space industry, and now he works at SpaceX, and he's loving it. Hey, Ballistic Coffee Boy is in the house. Kelly says, what does the E stand for, though? What does the E stand for?
E is for enlisted.
I wanted to see what you were going to make up. And instead, he just goes with the real thing.
For elephantitis of the balls.
Elephantitis. Yeah. Made it to E5. I can barely sit down. It's crazy. You get to E7, they ride shotgun when you're driving. Yeah, let's see. Melissa says, I didn't know what I wanted to do after 20 years of retail management until I was actually 39. Yeah. I'm 55 years old. I never did figure out what I wanted to do.
Right.
I just did a little whatever. I went in the Navy because of Top Gun, and then but I'm not even joking. We watched Top Gun, and then Top Gun spurred a bunch of stories about going in the Navy because you can fly. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go to college, so I'm not going to be a pilot. And I walked into a recruiter and said, what can I do that it's guaranteed to fly? And they said, you can track submarines from the air. And I signed up that day. I'm like, let's do it. And then I got out of the Navy and I built houses for a long time with my dad because it was a good time. The housing market was going nuts. And I got out of the Navy in 92. So all through the 90s, I was building houses, made a bunch of money doing that stuff. And then when the housing bubble collapsed, I was like, okay, it's getting expensive. And the school system in Arizona, they were removing the doors from the lockers because they wanted to be able to see what these kids had, drugs and guns, and putting metal detectors on the entrance to the school. We said, let's not have Jason go through high school here. Move to Arkansas, where we could sell our house in Arizona and buy a house for cash in Arkansas. And then when Kelly and I, once Shelby graduated, we're like, hey, this work camping thing, we got a motorhome. Let's look into that. And we got hired on day 4, making more money than we were making in Arkansas. We're like, fuck yeah, let's go. So we did that for a few years, and then we ended up here. It's just, whatever. I never got a career plan. Even when I was building houses, I knew this is, it's good. It's decent money, and we're doing all this, and it's fun building a house. It's always neat to start from a chunk of dirt, and a few months later, you're walking away with a house, and it's a neat process, but I didn't want to do that the rest of my life. I didn't see myself being a 70-year-old guy still running an construction business.
Yeah, that gets tough. My uncle did that for years, his own business, and then it got to the point, just him doing the work, and he's in his upper 70s, and people were still calling him to do stuff. And he finally said, okay, it's time to hang it up. He didn't have his boys there anymore to help him and stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Kelly thought it meant enlisted. Wasn't sure. I was going to say E stood for enslaved. Yeah, I kind of felt more that way while I was in the Navy than any other time in my life as far as enslaved, because I lived and died by the flight schedule. I was air crew, and on the deployments, we flew more than we were at home, it seemed. And then even at the home cycle, this is before caller ID, before cell phones, before all that. And everybody I knew that we all did the same, all of us air crew, as soon as the phone rings, we all said the same thing. If it's work, I'm not here. If it's work, I'm not here. Because I'm sure, Poe, it was the same for you in the Air Force. Even if you're off, if they call you, you're going.
Yep.
You
And
can't.
we did standby every weekend or holiday. They picked people to be on standby in case something happened out at the missile structures. If alarms went off, you had to go. But by that point, we didn't have the cell phones, but they gave us beepers. Whoever was getting that got the beeper. And when that went off, you had to call them within so many minutes. And you needed to be on your way out to those structures. And when they first did that, they said you didn't have to be in uniform. You know, if you're coming from town or something, you're doing something, just come straight out there. But they got to the point it was a little silly. I had this fluorescent ski jacket, I remember one day, and I got called in to hold gun for them opening the structures. The other two guys came to pull keys. And I'm standing out there holding the shotgun. And I hear on my radio, one of the cops up in the cop tower says, "What is that? One of the Minutemen down there or something? Where'd this guy come from?" Because I'm wearing this fluorescent ski jacket, no uniform, you know.
Yeah. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, but and even if you weren't, and there were times when we were on our home cycle every other month, you were the Ready Alert Squadron. So if suddenly the Russians, we detected them deploy a submarine off our coast, we were the ones that, hey, you got to go check this out. And so we were on that. But even on when we weren't the Ready Alert, there was nothing really going on. But when you're in the military, if they call, you don't get to say, "Well, I was going to go to the beach today." It's like, well, you're coming to work for whatever reason.
I mean, I always worked on base, so there was no deployment for me, but you had to be accounted for. If you weren't going to be at work, they knew that you were on sick call. You had to tell them, I'm going to the hospital because of this and that. And we were on the personal reliability program, so we couldn't take anything over the counter. It had to be given to us by a doctor at the hospital because we had to be accountable. So I couldn't take NyQuil and stuff like that. If I had a headache or something, you had to go to the hospital to get something. If they found out that you were self-prescribing, you were in big trouble. So it kind of sucked. They paid attention to where you were all the time.
Yeah, we only had to worry about that if you were flying that day. If you were on the flight schedule, then of course, anything much stronger than an aspirin, you'd have to answer for. But but if we were, if you were the Ready Alert crew, so now you knew you were the one getting called, you weren't allowed to go anywhere that you didn't have a phone. And then they did start bringing beepers for some people, but it was pretty uncommon. I think that was just at the end. But but if you were just off for the weekend, and you weren't on the flight schedule and the phone rang, because if you talk to them, you have to go if they call you in. But you were not in trouble if you weren't on call, if you weren't on the ready crew, and they called you just happened to not be home, then you're not in trouble. You didn't have to sit by the phone 24/7.
Right. Ours was just like a regular job, and we had rotating shifts. We had 3 shifts a day, but we were all off for the weekend, off for the holidays, unless you were one of the ones that had to be on call, So we'd go wherever, downtown all weekend long, do whatever we wanted. We went fishing a lot, but it was North Dakota, way up north in North Dakota. There wasn't much else to do up there. It was all farming country. So,
yeah. When you were the Ready Alert Squadron, if you happened to be the Ready Alert crew, then it didn't matter. Christmas Day, whatever, you're going in, and you would have to just sit there, and that's when we would get chosen to do our watch duty, which was either the higher ranking enlisted guys, you'd work the duty office and take phone calls for the squadron, and the lower end, you were the runner. You do, they called it the duty driver, and anything the squadron needs, you're running people places, or you're driving. And that didn't matter what day. If you got chosen and it happened to be Thanksgiving Day, you're going and you're at work on that day. But And then deployment was a different thing. We were at work. If you were not air crew, they were 7 to 7 shifts. You either worked day shift or night shift, 7 to 7. And us air crew, we worked. We would do 12-hour flights with a 3-hour pre-flight and a 1-hour post-flight, and then a 12-hour turnaround. And after 3 of those in a row, they had to give you a 15-hour turnaround. So there were weeks where the whole week went by and you just felt like you were either in bed or in the air because you're like, what the hell? And yeah,
that's one thing that we really lucked out on too, because working on nukes, nuclear certified, we weren't allowed to do any more than 12 hours. It just wasn't allowed because of the stuff that we worked with. So you kind of lucked out there, Like,
yeah,
somebody, the next crew was going to come in. We mostly did 8-hour shifts anyway, unless we did our war games that were a couple times a year. Those were always 12-hour shifts.
Yeah. See, now Ed says the Air Force doctors gave you those big, giant 800 milligram ibuprofens. And then what a surprise. Ed, who'd have thought Ed would throw a Prince reference out there? Doctor, everything will be all right. Instead of me asking how much at times. Yeah.
Well, it was even down to I wasn't allowed to take Pepto or Kaopectate. So I remember one day, it was a Friday, and I had diarrhea. So I called in to the sergeants, and I'm like, I'm going to sick call. And they're like, okay, well, have a good weekend. This was like early morning, Friday morning. I'm like, yes, I got a whole day off for diarrhea. Nice.
Nice. You know what's funny for my personal story with, I found out on the first flight I ever did on a P3. We went and did a fake mine run down over the Bahamas. And it was really cool for the first few minutes because we go down to 300 feet off the water and they open the bomb bay. And on a P3, there is a window on the floor. You can open a hatch and then there's a window that looks straight down. So we're flying over the Bahamas. You could see the coral and all that stuff.
Nice.
And I'm looking, and then I'm like, I'm not feeling so good. I spent the whole rest of the flight puking my guts up. And there was a senior chief, E8, senior chief petty officer. It was who I was replacing on that crew. So he was training me, and he took me to the side and he said, hey, don't let anyone know, but get you some Dramamine. Because if the Navy finds out you get airsick, you're automatically grounded. You can't do your job if you're getting airsick.
Yeah.
And I would get my Dramamine and I'd have it hidden. Flight suits have like 27 pockets. My right leg, I always had my barf bag. And somewhere I would have my little pack of Dramamine. And by the end, after a couple of years of this, I was buying like a 100-tablet bottle of Dramamine. And by then I kind of, not to brag on myself, but I had a pretty much good reputation. Like I said, I was good at taking tests. All the Navy tests are multiple choice. And I've been known to be, the one of the senior guy, E6 guy, he'd be running training or something like that. And then he'd go out on a smoke break, and I'd go down to get a Dr. Pepper. He said, where do you think you're going? He said, you guys are taking a break. I'm going to go get, it's a smoke break, and you don't smoke. And I would just look at him and say, I got a 96 on the last test. What was your score? Because he always But so they didn't leave me alone, because I was pretty good at my job. So it got to the point we would be on the plane doing the pre-flight briefing, and I would just break out my bottle of Dramamine and pop a pill right in front of everybody. And then some of the other enlisted guys that outranked me, they'd come over and they'd be like, is that Dramamine you were taking? And I'm like, yeah. You've been taking, how often? I've been taking these for you. Can I get one?
$100.
Yeah, P3s are not very smooth flights. And when you get down 300 feet off the water, you're just doing this. Oh, man. We had a bee stinger sticking off the back, which is basically a giant metal detector. And anyone that's run a metal detector knows the range on a metal detector is not miles. People aren't swinging their metal detector over their head. They're putting it right on the sand at the beach, right? It's a short range. And this is a good one, but it's still relatively short range. So if you're looking for a submarine that's underwater, that means you got to be close to the water if you want to detect this thing. And so you'd be down there, and that was part of my equipment, was the metal detector. And it had the old EKG pen, scrolling tape.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting there with my head on the thing. My fingers are on and if I felt the pen hit I knew we ran over, and I'd step on the thing. I had my microphone, and I'd call the call that we just flew over the submarine, because I got my head on the desk in a barf bag. It was pretty rough. So it was good times. So, but I look back on it now, and I'm just like, no, sorry, Ed, if you're already gone. Take it easy. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
But and I don't know if you feel the same way based on the job you were doing, Bo, and what you were working with. Now, 30 years later, I look back and I'm like, I was flying around the Mediterranean Sea tracking Russian submarines. What the fuck? Who does that?
Yeah, it kind of hit me at the time because I didn't go in right out of high school. I waited a few years. But you're working on this stuff that costs millions and millions of dollars. And here's a bunch of 18-year-old kids with you working on them too, a bunch of goofballs, And there were a few that messed up goofing around, and they paid for it. They lost stripes, and we're lucky not to get kicked out. You ruin equipment like that, it's not a joke.
Yeah, and we used to say it all the time, because even at the time, we realized it too, and people would say back then in the late 80s, all the way up until the Soviet Union collapsed, the submarine threat was a real thing. If there was going to be a nuclear war, the submarines, we better know where they're at. So our job was very important. And the three of us operators that were on board the P3 were all enlisted. We're the only Navy in the world that have enlisted guys doing what we did. It was all officers that would do what our particular job was. And most of us were under the age of 25. And I'd say probably 35% of us were less than 20.
Right.
We're 18 and 19 year olds. And in a way, if the shit would have hit the fan, the fate of a lot of people was in our hands.
You had a whole group of 18, 19-year-old guys working on nuclear missiles, air-launched missiles. And we're all talking like Beavis and Butthead because that was what was popular at the time. So you got a bunch of Beavis and Butthead guys working on these things,
Yeah.
I think back there now and laugh.
Yeah, we're going overseas, and the P3 doesn't have a tailhook. So when we landed on land. So when we deployed, we went to a base somewhere. We weren't on aircraft carriers. So here we are, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, over in Spain, where drinking age is 18. In the States, it was 21, so we couldn't buy beer. And all of a sudden, now we're allowed to buy beer. And then we're in a Russian submarine. It's like, how are we in charge of anything?
Well, I got very lucky my first few years out there because my sergeant that reported on me became a good friend. We would go fishing. I house sat his place when he was on vacation. He did the same for me. So we would be out in the bay doing our tests on these missiles or whatever. The phone would ring out in the bay. Somebody would answer, and they're like, "Oh, Henry, Sarge needs to talk to you right now." When they were all like, "Oh, he did something wrong. He's in trouble." And I would pick up the phone, and my sergeant would be like, "Smoke break?" Like, all right, I'll be right out. We'd go outside and have a smoke break while everybody else is working. And then I'd come back in with my head down. Oh, yeah, Well, you smell like cigarettes.
Yeah. Hey, that 80s room. Good to see you.
Hey,
Bunch of Gomer Piles.
bunch of Gomer Pyle.
Yeah. Went on a submarine that was surfaced. Yeah, it's funny in the river there, in Arkansas, in Little Rock, there is a World War II diesel submarine in the river in downtown Little Rock, and we went on a tour of that. And Kelly's not a big fan of being in water, especially deep water, anything that's deeper than her head. So you're talking about, a foot and a half of water. Oh, now Poe's gone. I'm telling the story, but I'll tell you guys. But she made the mistake, and I knew we had gone down a few levels, and she asked the guy that was giving the tour where the water level was, and we were in the engine room, and he thought at first, because you could see some water down below the engines, you could kind of see into the bilge area, and he said, "Well, it's right down there," and I said, "No, she's asking you where the river water level is outside," and he showed it was above us, and Kelly was not too thrilled to find out that she was underwater technically, even though the boat wasn't submerged. We were under the water level. So, yeah. But it is small and cramped. Now, Jason was in a big nuclear ballistic missile submarine. He was on the USS Pennsylvania, Ohio class submarine. And he's kind of a gym rat kind of guy. He lifts weights and all that. And the gym on that boat is on 3 different decks. So it's quite a bit bigger a boat than the one that we did. But Ballistic's got to do some chores.
Chores.
It's kind of a chore to watch me and Poe. I mean,
Yeah.
that should count. That should count.
Usually I have somebody else here to run interference when I have to take a break, and there was nobody here. I had no choice.
Yeah. I was talking about how Kelly doesn't like deep water, which for her, the average mud puddle on the side of the road is, you're already waist deep. But if you start with Jaws, you get to Godzilla. Used to be a commercial fisherman. Yeah, I don't know how I would do if I had been on a boat. If I'd have been on an aircraft carrier, it's probably big enough I'd have been okay. But I think I would have had trouble with seasickness as much as I did with air sickness. But
last I heard, my one nephew is heading back from the war zone. Their aircraft carrier's heading back. The other one was on a trip, and they went way down south. They're actually heading to California, so he's been out there for a while, but they'll end up in California, and then I think he's going to take some leave again because he just had a wedding anniversary. But yeah, I got 2 nephews on aircraft carrier.
yeah, the one flight, we used to joke around all the time. You'd find out your plane broke while you were flying, something malfunctioned. Obviously not bad enough to crash, but bad enough you had to turn around and go home. And you're like, cool, shortened flight. Instead of a 12-hour, we only flew for 3 hours. The one time that we were all bummed, we still flew far enough north. I got my Blue Nose card because we crossed the Arctic Circle. But we were supposed to go to the North Pole and drop a buoy into the ice. And then we were going to land up at Thule, Greenland, which I think is the farthest north military base. And we were going to stay the night in Greenland. And our plane broke just after we crossed the Arctic Circle. And we're like, no.
Oh, man.
The North Pole. But, yeah, that kind of sucked. But, yeah, let's see. Ballistic had to go clean up the guest bathroom that the chihuahuas tore up last night. Trim a bush by the front door. Oh, good. I misread that. I thought he was in the bathroom trimming a bush, and I was like, whoa. We don't need to know what's going on.
That was for his OnlyFans.
That was, yeah. Let's see. Saying later. He's still listening. He says so. He's still listening. I've been mostly listening too, multitasking. That's usually the best thing. Just listen to us, because if you look at us too long, it's not pretty.
That's why he's one of the people that reacts the most to my videos, because he listens. He's not actually watching it. It's kind of like the debates with Kennedy and Nixon back in the day. If you watched it, you knew who won. If you listened to it, you thought somebody else won. Type of thing.
Right. Yeah. Oh boy, we don't want to get into politics and talk about debates and stuff here lately. Oh, good. Yeah. Let's see. My eyes get crossed when I look at Mr. Postall too long.
Mine too.
Yeah.
That's why I don't look in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, people can't see my screen situation here, but when it's just me and Poe like this, I have Poe on the left because this monitor is here and the next monitor is to my left. So I have my browser pushed over, so he's actually over there, so I don't have to look at Poe because, you know,
By
but
the
the
way,
bad thing is now my screen is mostly me, and I'm still thinking I reached out from my leg pocket looking for my barf bag because I'm making myself sick. But
That's why the wife makes me turn off the lights before entering the bedroom.
yeah. Oh, speaking of the wife, yeah, Kelly has to work tomorrow, so she has to get up at 4.
Oh, Kelly, quit your job.
Yeah. So she's getting up at 4, which means I'm getting up at 4 also, because I am that kind of guy.
Not me. After the old lady get up and I roll over, fart, and go back to sleep. I wait until she closes the door before I fart, or I'll get yelled at. So.
Yeah. That's funny. No, I wake up early anyway. There's a good chance I'll be up at 3:30 just because I wake up in the middle of the night and I know it's close, so then I don't fall back asleep. And yeah, but I'll get up and turn the light. It's pretty rare, but sometimes when she works and I don't, and she goes in at 4, there have been a few times where I do go back to bed, but usually I end up staying up.
On days off, I enjoy getting up early and watching the sun come up, having coffee, and it's quiet. But it just doesn't happen anymore because my wife loves staying up late. So, I mean, there's been a lot of times since I've been off work for this that we're not going to bed until after 5 a.m. And I mean, the sun's already coming up, the birds are singing outside the window, and I'm like, wow, I want to get to sleep, but then it doesn't happen. That's why if you guys said something, you guys might be writing at 7 something in the morning, you and Mike, and I answer back at like 1 in the afternoon. Like, hey guys,
Right.
Just got my morning stuff done at noon.
Right. Well, then with Mike being in Pacific time, and I'm in Central time, even though I shouldn't be, but we don't want to get started on that again. So when we get up at 4, it's like 2 in the morning, and there are times when Mike's still up because I'll get up, and then I know I don't expect you, especially and Greg, to respond when I'm sending a text at 5 o'clock in the morning your time. You know.
Well, I used to when I was at work.
When you were working, there was a chance you would, but not on a Saturday or Sunday, hopefully, because you didn't have to work on Saturdays and Sunday most times, but too many times you did. But when Mike responds right away, I'm like, Mike, have you looked at the clock? It's
right.
It's 2:30 your time. He's like, yeah, I need to go to bed, but I just want to get past this next level.
Yeah. He would be saying something on one of my videos or sending a message, and I have an hour drive to work. I'd be at work already. I left the house at about 4 a.m. I'm pulling into work around 5, and Mike's he's sending a message or something. I'm like, holy crap, Mike. I know it's 3 hours difference, but it's still 2 a.m. there right now, you know.
Right.
And it's a work day.
Yeah. That 5, Mike's Gaming Gala said 5 to 6 a.m. is his usual bedtime. Yeah, those days are way behind me. If I make it to midnight, something weird happened.
I get a lot more sleep now because you used to even get on me about it. I couldn't get myself to sleep even though I was tired as hell. When I worked that shift before I went off for medical, I was doing like 4 hours of sleep a night, you know. And now I'm at least getting 6.5, 7 hours, even though I'm not going to bed till 5 a.m. But she has to be up tomorrow, so we'll go to bed before that. We'll probably go to bed around 1 a.m. So,
yeah, there was that time there where I was like Poe's nagging second wife because I'd be like 7 o'clock in the evening his time. Oh, why aren't you in bed? He's like, what the fuck? It's 7. I'm like, yeah,
but you were right.
You were ready to fall asleep, and you're just hurt because you haven't slept.
Yeah, and I had to get up at 3:40 in the morning or whatever. You were right. You know, you were looking after me, but I'm one of those guys that's like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. You know, I just got home. We get done at 4 o'clock. I work 10-hour shifts every day, get done at 4. Hour drive home, it's 5. I have dinner. Yeah, I should go to bed at 7:30, but that only gave me a few hours of free time, you know. I hated that about it.
Yeah, see, for me, it's not so much the evening time, and I get it. going to sleep early and all that, because it's still hard for me to go to bed. We go to bed at 8 o'clock Friday and Saturday night because we get up at 4. In theory, that's 8 hours, but I don't fall asleep until 9 usually. But when I played in the band in Arkansas, I think I've told the story before. Sometimes we played. There was a club we played. The first band didn't even go on until midnight, and you finished up at 2 o'clock in the morning is when you finished there. So we wouldn't drive the 3-hour drive home. We'd just get a hotel room. By the time we loaded up all the band equipment and got back to the hotel and all that, it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning. I was up at 5:30, and I'd get up. The other 3 guys, well, Charmaine was a chick, so it wasn't the other 3 guys. The other guys and Charmaine, they're sleeping, which they should be. And I'd tiptoeing around, so I'd walk down to McDonald's or something, get breakfast, eat it in the lobby of the hotel. And then the drummer, Paul, he would always wake up, usually around 8 or 9 in the morning. He would wake up, he'd come out to the lobby, and he'd be like, "What are you doing, man?" I said, "Just hanging out." He goes, "You want to go get some breakfast?" "I already ate." "Well, why didn't you wake me up?" "Oh, I got up at 6. "Oh, fuck that. Let me sleep." Every single time he did the same routine. "Why didn't you wake me up?" "It was 6. "Oh, never mind." But yeah, I cannot sleep. No matter what time I go to bed, if I sleep till 8, that is huge sleeping in. And I can go to bed at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and wake up wide awake at 5 and just be like laying in bed wondering, what I might as well get up because I'm not going to sleep anymore.
I used to be that way a lot, and when my daughter was a toddler, that's when I got my OG original Xbox. So that was the perfect time for me on the weekends, was to get up at like 6 a.m. and I could play Xbox until the baby woke up, And so I always loved that back in the day. This just in, I got a notification. I don't know if it went up just now, but Mike's Gaming Gala has a mini review on Strawberry Shortcake for the Atari 2600. It just got posted according to my notification. If you remember, I played that game a few months ago on my channel. I did a quick 20-hour video on it. So
yeah. Oh, I don't know. I unsubscribed to Mike's Gaming Gala because I found out that he likes you. So anybody that's associated with Poe in any way, shape, or form, I automatically unsubscribe, including my own channel. I unsubscribed that because, yeah. But, yeah. Breaking news. I did not get a notification about. I got to check to see if my notifications are on.
You unsub to them, admit it.
Yeah. Let me see. Did I get a notification? I got a notification that Poe is live. Poe is live right now. For all just breaking news, Mr. Poe Style is live. Yeah, Mike said that's fair. That's fair. He gets it.
Well, speaking of Mike, last I heard anyway, there won't be a Retro Bliss Rewind this Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, but I do believe Mike is going to be live on his channel, so check that out Tuesday night.
Excellent. I'll try to remember. I got to go and turn the notifications on apparently, but sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't get those when he does those mini review things.
Love those.
Yeah, I'll watch those, and sometimes I get notifications, and other times I don't. But oops, I keep grabbing my phone instead of the mouse because it's sitting right next to it, and I keep clicking on random stuff. That is correct. I'm guessing he's saying that's correct with he's.
Yeah, go over to his channel Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Good time.
Mike's Gaming Gala. Good guy, good channel. Even though he likes Poe, don't hold that against him. Yeah. See, that's kind of some of the benefits. We've told people before the story that Poe and I met through other YouTubers that knew us both and put us in contact with Mike and put us in contact with Greg. And it just keeps continuing on.
I gave the entire breakdown to Derek last night in the private message. Something came up, and I was telling him again how we all met and how we met Greg and how I met Mike and Bliss. I gave him the whole history in a message last night.
Yeah, we met Bliss a long time ago. And
we knew Bliss, we knew Chaos, you guys, and I actually knew Greg through that. And then one night when I was absent from our show, Greg was invited on, and the rest was history.
Ballistics OnlyFans is going live in 5. It's not going to be pretty. He's got the gardening influence out. Yeah, see, and like Mike's Gaming Gala and Ballistic, which Mike's laughing at you, Ballistic. That's a good one. I met them, I think, through you, Poe, because I think they started coming to our show because they liked you.
Ballistic and I met way back, and he had just started his channel, and he was watching mine and commenting on mine, and I was watching his and commenting, and I shared it with our group at the time, and I believe back in our old video days with the other guys when we were doing the live giveaways and stuff, I think he was in the chat for 1 or 2 of those with us.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, me and Ballistic go way back as well.
Yeah. I don't guess I actually met Ballistic, though. I've chatted with him in here and talked to him through the show. We got to get him on here sometime to be on our show
definitely.
with us.
I've been on his about every 6 months. I think he asked me to come on, which is nice.
Yeah. That's what we were shooting for, was to have Poe on once every 6 months.
And I said
every freaking week.
For some reason, Greg liked me and allowed me in each week. So
right. But it was nice. I thought it was awesome when Mike's Gaming Gala came on our show. He's been on a couple times, and it's nice to actually get to chat, video face to face.
Yeah, he knows a lot of gaming history, smart guy, and his humor is the same as ours, so that's always a plus.
Yeah.
I tell him, like, whenever I do a video with him or I'm in the chat, it's like when I'm doing something with you, we can kind of give each other a look and know what the other one's thinking because we're so messed up in the head. And that's the same feeling I get with Mike.
Yeah. Mr. Postile is my Kevin Bacon. Everyone I know on YouTube knows him or has heard of him. And I always say, can you please go and make sure you're subscribed to us both? Nice.
And they never subscribe to me. Or they do for 2 days and then they drop my ass.
Yeah. Now,
I've been up to 430 subscribers like 10 times now, and then it always goes back to every other day. So
yeah.
I've just been stuck there forever.
Well, but now that
I don't get videos out that often, and I just do it when I feel like doing it. So
now, Ballistic mentioned Kevin Bacon in that, so now I got to talk about the 6 degrees of separation. That's what he's referring to. Everyone in Hollywood, supposedly of all time, is within 6 steps to Kevin Bacon.
right.
And if you want to extend that to all of show business and not just the movies, my Kevin Bacon number is 3, I guess, because I did a show with another band that was called I Shine, and the lead singer of I Shine was the Black Power Ranger in the Power Ranger movie. A biggest show I ever played to because it was at a Comic-Con thing, and the Power Ranger guy was playing. So it was a huge crowd of kids who didn't give a fuck about us, but wanted to see the Power Ranger. But in that Power Ranger movie was a guy that was in a movie with Kevin Bacon. So it's from me to the Power Ranger to this other guy to Kevin Bacon. So there's like 3 steps, maybe. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm in the, if you include all of show business. But we were kind of freaked out by I don't know if I told you that story before, Poe. They traveled. They didn't bring the guitar players had their guitars, but they didn't travel with any amps. The drummer didn't have drums or anything. So they used our equipment for the show. And they were just like, they kept, hey, you guys going to come up to our room and party after the show and stuff? And we're like, yeah, we can swing by. And then like 2 minutes later, so you guys going to come up and party? Are you guys going to come hang and party? So by the end of it, we're like, we got to go. We're going to load our just bailed on them. We hid from these guys. It's like, you guys are the famous ones. What is going on with you? And the Power Ranger guy, we were laughing because he's like, hey, man, make sure you hit me up after the show and I'll sign some headshots for you and stuff. We're like, are people supposed to ask you for an autograph? Not you be like, hey, man, you sign. So that was a little weird, but he did. He gave us a full press packet for their band and his personal stuff. And he did autograph and said, thanks a lot. It's great playing with you guys and stuff. So it was but it's like it was weird when these people that you're thinking they're fairly big time. They were national touring and all that stuff, like kissing our ass, wanting us to hang out. It's like I don't know what's going on there, but
That's
it was a good time. It was a good time.
My uncle was in a band back in the 60s and 70s. He's passed away a few years back. Awesome uncle, though. And he was in a band back during the riots and stuff like that back in the 60s, and got stuck in the middle after one of their little concerts where people were shaking the vehicle they were in and stuff, back in the, but I remember him telling us the story that they were pretty big in the Kentucky area at the time for a local band. And the guys from ZZ Top actually opened for them in one of their things. So that was always his thing to tell us about. Yeah, they opened for us. And then they got huge, ZZ Top. So after the fact.
Yeah. Oh, nice. There you go.
He recently made some statements, Kevin Bacon, that I think were jokingly, but now people are all pissed at him. I don't know if you saw that. That was just within the last few days. Trying to say that he went out incognito and it sucked being a regular person. He wanted to be famous again, something like that, about having to wait in lines and stuff. And I think he was probably joking saying that, but like everybody's taking it the wrong way right now. Like, screw you.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we were worried about we're like, yeah, are they gonna roofie Charmaine or something? What's going on? Why are they pushing so hard for us to hang out? I think they just kind of like that. They didn't want to hang out with the crowd, which it was mostly really young people in that crowd, and some of them were, it was a Comic-Con thing type of deal, so they're all in costumes and all kinds of stuff. So I think they just wanted to hang out with another band, but it was just weird. But it was. I had a great time being in that band. Got this close to being famous. People in Hollywood knew who we were. This little band out of a tiny town in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So it was pretty neat. But good times. Good times. Let's see. Actually, Carry Biohazard's guitar player through the mosh. Nice.
Since birth, did you totally drop the Arcade Chaos name now? That you're since birth? I want to know what to call you. Should I start calling you Birth instead of Chaos?
Right.
You should call yourself Afterbirth. That would be an awesome. That's a good name for a rock and roll band. There.
Right. That's like a death metal band.
Afterbirth.
Afterbirth. ZZ Top. It's hard to go wrong with ZZ Top.
Right.
I think their music was very likable for people that liked all kinds of genres. Even the biggest metalheads in high school, they'd be like Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, and they're like, ZZ Top song comes on, and they're like, I'm cool with it. It's fine.
Yeah, I remember grabbing a bunch of their cassettes and listening to them all the time. And then when I started dating my wife, she's like, play Rough Boy. And I'm like, that's the song you want to hear from ZZ Top of all their awesome songs? Rough Boy?
One of my favorite ones, Velcro Fly.
Velcro Fly, and Paula Abdul was the one that taught them how to dance for that video. She was the choreographer.
Really?
I remember. Yeah, I remember that back when they were talking about that on MTV.
Hey, look at the hook on your pants, makes you want to dance. Yeah, me and a buddy of mine in high school, we actually learned a little dance routine for that, the Velcro Fly. But TV dinners.
TV dinner.
Love their goofy songs, because they had legit songs that were really great songs, and then they throw out, I even like the chicken if the sauce is not too blue. It's like, what?
I'm a rough boy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Mood music, I guess.
Paul Abdul taught me that opposites attract.
I tell you what. I walked into a Kmart, I think, with my parents, And it was right around the time we finally got cable. They waited till I was the only kid at home. But I remember seeing that video and her and MC Scat Cat dancing around at Kmart on like 20 different screens. And that's probably the first time I saw Paula Abdul. And I was like, oh, I liked her. I liked her a little bit.
Yeah. Kelly gets a kick out of it when Straight Up comes on. And I'm singing along, and I'm doing her little, do all her little hand motions. Every once in a while, it'll come on, and I'm singing along and doing all that stuff, and be like, "Damn it!" When we were up at the campground in Colorado, every Saturday night we did karaoke. It's like, why didn't I ever do Paula Abdul karaoke? You know, the owner of the park, he came down one time, and he would show up, but he didn't. He'd come into karaoke for a couple songs and then he'd leave, kind of thing. And he came up and he wanted me, well, I ended up doing it. He said, "Hey, do Call Me by Blondie." I'm like, all right. And then I got to the middle of it and she does those lines in French. And I don't know French. And I don't read French very well when I'm in the middle of a song and I have to sing it in tune and at time. I'm like, what are these words?
My oldest brother, if there was karaoke, him and his wife used to do that quite a bit. They would go there because her cousin was a DJ, so they would do karaoke nights at bars. And my oldest brother would do LaGrange all the time, and he would do Beth by Peter Criss. And he sounded just like them when he would do them. It was awesome, hearing him sing those songs.
Yeah. Milli Vanilli, they had a couple of songs. And it's a shame with the whole scandal and stuff because they were good songs. If they wouldn't have done all that stuff.
Yeah, they were so popular. I remember my sister had their cassette and my sister-in-law at the time, always listening to Milli Vanilli. And you couldn't miss them on MTV back then. Yeah. Blame it on the rain. I'm in love with you, girl.
Yeah, I like all that old stuff. It's funny because, in high school I would have went down as one of the metalhead guys, and I did. I listened to all those hair bands. My hair went down to the middle of my back when I graduated high school and all that stuff. And I listened, but Kelly can tell you, I'll listen to like the 80s station, and I'm singing along with all those pop songs. I know all the words to all that shit still, and it's like. Some of my friends would have been like, how the hell do you know the words to that Billy Joel song? It's like, because it's a good song, dude. And it's like...
I remember going on to buy Paula Abdul's second cassette just because I was infatuated with her and not exactly her music. But then she did the Rush video with Keanu Reeves. That was like a little miniature movie video that they did for that.
Right. I am still to this day bitter with a friend of mine who was a big metalhead, to the point he was all pissed off when David Lee Roth left Van Halen and they got Sammy Hagar. And he was like, if Sammy Hagar even touches a fucking guitar, I will burn every CD I have. Tape. We didn't have CDs back then. I'm like, dude, chill. Hagar can sing. He can't play guitar like Eddie. He's not going to take over and just have Eddie sit down. But we went down to the Arizona State Fair, and he went with us. It was me and my ex-wife. We were still in high school. And this guy and Howard Jones was playing. And I like Howard Jones. I still like Howard Jones. Howard Jones is a genius, by the way. He put all of his money, he invested all the money he made in the 80s, and he is richer now than he was in the 80s, even though he hasn't played music, But and he was a diehard metalhead, and after 4 songs, he was just bitching and crying and moaning, what the fuck are we, why are we, and so we left. And I'm, so this, it's like 40 years later, I'm pissed off because I wanted to see this Howard concert.
That's Van Hagar, man.
Yeah. And I like both Van Halen versions, but with Sammy Hagar, they opened their music open wide compared to the stuff with David Lee Roth. Totally different feel, and I like them both. And it's like, just relax, see what they got. He was so pissed. He was so pissed off. It's like, oh Jesus. But let's see. Let me catch up again.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, the Billy guys, it didn't end. It didn't end well. Yeah, that's the sad part. And if they wouldn't have done all that stuff with the shenanigans, the gentleman that did the recordings and all that would have been pretty good. Yeah. I'll put these ones up that you guys have aimed at Poe while Poe's not here. That'll teach him to go. Nice. You saw him in Dallas. Howard Jones. Yeah, I love Howard Jones. Yeah. Let's see. Poe can answer that one later. Oh, that's nice. Went to the Sammy's Bar in Cabo. Nice. Yeah, if we ever get down that way, I definitely want to go there. Yeah. It's funny. When Poe was talking about Beth, when you were talking about Beth, it made me think of, I used to know how to play that whole song on the piano. I could probably sit down and figure it out again because I had the song down. I would just have to, sometimes I have to just remember where you put your hands for the first chords, and then you're like, okay, this is where it is. But the one that used to get me, and sometimes we had a piano in the rec hall where we did karaoke. And before we set up or something, or when we did drunk-karaoke night during the week, when it wasn't open to the public, it was just for employees and select guests. I'd sit down at the piano and play some stuff. And my buddy Rob, that I think you know Rob, he won that Nintendo
Yeah.
little NES thing. Good buddy of mine. He would always start laughing when I play it because I'd sit down and start playing "You Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone" by Cinderella.
Right.
And the people that don't know Cinderella, they're listening to me play this nice, pretty opening, you know, the piano riff and all that. And I played it, and then I just,
That's a good impression right there.
it's like, yeah. And Rob, he would start laughing as soon as I started playing it because he knew, and I would just let it rip in the rec hall, and it was hilarious. But it's
Yeah, I met Rob through you playing the Quest, and we actually became Facebook friends after that.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I know he was having some health problems.
Yeah, he's having some health problems. He's kind of like you. He was out of work for quite a while. And I talked to him today, as a matter of fact, and he said he's back to work. So he's feeling better about that. And,
Good.
He's
I'm at that point now, too. I definitely got to I got to get back or get Affleck on the ball here real fast. So
yeah, because it's very similar to your story. And my story was mine never really had a resolution either, but it just kind of went away. 90% of the problems I would have, they never knew what was wrong with me. It just stopped. And I attribute it to when I stopped sugar almost completely. I don't eat any sugar, and except now I cheat with my coffee creamer. And when we changed our diet, all of my stuff went away. But for a long time, they didn't know what Rob's problem was. And he lost, and he's a big guy. Rob's a pretty big guy, but he lost like 150 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't know what was causing it. And he was hurting and all that, and they had to do some procedures, and they're hopeful that if he gets a good test in September, then in January they can go in and do another surgery, and hopefully that'll, solve all his problems. But they got him kind of leveled out now, but it's not ideal. But
I know what we talk about that and not knowing. It's like I went to see the same neurologist now for over 3 years. They did the leg EMG for the big nerves, and they're like, your muscles, the nerves are reacting the way they should. But he finally referred me to a small nerve doctor in Pittsburgh. They did their most recent test for small nerve, and they found damage in my feet for sure. And I'm like, well, I already knew that. I can't feel the bottoms of my feet anymore, They're like, there's damage there. As far as the lightheaded stuff goes, they're still not sure, but now they're going to try things. So probably another 50 medications that everybody else already did with me in the past 4 years. But
Yeah. They never could. I was going in all the time. They were doing scopes. They were putting sensors in my esophagus. They were doing heart run workups. Post going through a bunch of those too. They were doing all kinds of scans. Couldn't figure out why I was having these pains. They would say, well, it seemed like a heart issue, but everything came back fine there.
right.
They did all the stuff for GERD, and, acid reflux and all that. Couldn't nail anything down there. They're doing all that stuff. And then I changed my diet, and we went several months of doing that carnivore diet, very strict, and got off the sugar completely and the carnivore diet. So we weren't eating any carbs. We weren't eating anything that wasn't basically meat, cheese, eggs, and drinking almost exclusively water. And over the next year, I stopped taking my blood pressure medication. I haven't taken anything for acid reflux or anything like that for a year and a half now. It just kind of, and when the doctors ask, so how's this stuff? Seems fine. I don't know what happened, but stopped, and I'm not complaining.
Right.
So, I attribute that mostly to my diet change. I don't even know.
Yeah, I've been put on so many things. It gets crazy, so many different medications. And then I even went off of the one. They were telling me they thought I was having silent migraines when I'd get that crushing feeling and blurred vision. I took that medicine for a whole year, and finally said, don't even give it to me anymore, because it doesn't work. It's like whatever the problem is goes away eventually, whether I take the pills or not. So why have me go on something I got to take 3 pills twice a day for if I don't really need the thing, And there's been a few medicines like that they had me on for a while and just dropped them. It's not making a difference. Probably just poisoning me more,
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with my blood pressure medication. I was doing some other test, and I had to stop taking it. And they said, you're going to have to go a month without taking your blood pressure meds. And my blood pressure was fine. So I'm like, I'm not going to take it then. I'm not a big fan of taking meds anyway. If you can get away with not taking anything, that's ideal. And this bad headache I had, it was probably the worst headache I've had in years. And Kelly's like, do you want one of my migraine pills? Because she gets migraines. So she has the migraine medicine. And I'm like, no, I'll fight it off, because I don't want to get on to some other med. We'll see what happens. I'll take a couple Tylenol. That doesn't work as good. I'll take a couple ibuprofens, and even that I take at moderation. I don't like a lot of stuff, but
they do say sometimes there's bad things about ibuprofen. There's bad things about Aleve. Different medicines like that. You got to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's diabetes. That's tough. And we are, like I said, up until I started putting coffee creamer. And I can't drink coffee without the creamer. I'm not a coffee person. I drink unsweet tea, or sometimes I'll put a little bit of the fake sweetener stuff, but I don't put sugar in anything. And I think that was a lot of it. And it's funny, because when I was having all my problems, my uncle sent me all kinds of videos and stuff about getting off of sugar. And I was like, whatever, dude, don't even start with this, whatever they call it, voodoo doctor, witch doctor medicines and stuff like that. And I did, though. We got off the sugar, and it made a huge, huge difference, I think, in a lot of stuff. But now I've also gotten bad about, I got to stop doing it. Those fucking cinnamon buns at the hotel are phenomenal. So, and Sunday I'll eat one of those cinnamon rolls.
We don't have a lot of stuff at home like that. We never have, except for holidays. Now tonight she did get me a cake, so we will have that right before bed. But it's not often we have stuff like that. But she cut out sugar. She's a big iced tea drinker. She always has been since she was a kid. A few years ago, she dropped the sugar from it. She drinks iced tea with no sugar. And she keeps telling me that's what you should have instead of your coffee. And, well, I'm a coffee person. I always have been since I was probably 10 years old, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not as big in iced tea, especially now that she took the sugar out of it. I've tried it a few times. It takes a little bit to get used to, you know.
You know, I thought that would be the hardest thing for me was the drinks, because I would drink at McDonald's. It's too sweet, so I would get half and half.
Yes, yes.
And of course, the people in Arkansas were like, "Can you add sweetener to this sweet tea? It's not quite at McDonald's." You're like, "What is it? Just need an IV."
Oh,
of
yeah,
sugar."
right. We would go down south on camping trips and stop at whatever the local grocery chain was, and she would buy a gallon of sweet tea, and you drank it, and you were just like tasting the sugar. It's like, wow, this sweet tea is way too much, you know.
I was shocked when I switched over to complete unsweet tea, because I was kind of like you. The few times I drank it in the past, when I wasn't making a conscious decision to get off of sugar, I was like, yeah, this will never work. I had to transition really quickly, and now I do use the yellow packets of sugar stuff, but I'll put one of those packs and make a whole pitcher of tea with one little pack. So it's just a little bit of sweetener, and if I don't have them, that's fine too. I'll just drink it plain. But the coffee,
and I joke with you about it, but I do love hot tea. That used to be a thing when we were sick for whatever. Hot tea was always my mom's drink. So for whatever reason, if we stayed home from school and were sick, she'd make us a hot tea. And I did buy different hot teas through the years, but I did always add something. I might add a little bit of honey to it or some sugar to it. But I would get the nighttime teas. They had like the nutcracker. I know there's a joke in there somewhere. Nutcracker tea, different flavored teas and stuff. And for a while, ginger tea. We tried ginger tea for a while when I first started having these problems because my wife read that maybe that could help you. I don't know how many times she's read certain things could help you, and we tried, you know, that just didn't pan out. But I do like tea, but coffee is my go-to. I mean, I'm having at least 2 cups a day.
Yeah. Now
Probably
sometimes
more.
we'll have the mint tea, but it's pun. Watch out for the pun. It's a little too minty for me, the mint tea. So, but I'll make. Now, Kelly, I made a pitcher of tea yesterday at work, and I'll make a whole pitcher of tea and then put ice in it, make it into iced tea because it's just too hot in Texas right now to be drinking hot tea too late into the day. But and then I just take the mint and I'll dip it like 10 times in the whole pitcher, and that's enough. Just give it a hint of mint. And Kelly's like, "No, put that tea back in with the others and brew it." And so it's fine. I can drink it that way, but I just like a hint. And I tried that with the lemon teas, and even just dipping it a few times, I'm like, wow, that is super lemony. So I have to be careful. but my
I just got a warning on my phone that my battery's about dead. It is at 15, so it's going to drop real fast here right now.
Yeah, we're in a short time warning. Let's see, ginger tea. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of ginger tea either. I've tried that.
Yeah, I did that just for health reasons, and nothing changed, and I stopped. So ginger and lemon wasn't very good. But the nighttime tea, if you ever find that nighttime tea and nutcracker, I don't know I can't remember who made that, but I really enjoyed those 2 teas.
Yeah, but not only do I drink unsweet tea, it's decaf also. So I don't drink. Well, now I'm drinking the Coke Zero and stuff, so I guess that has caffeine in it. But yeah, the coffee we drink is decaf, and the tea we drink is decaf. Well, at least what I drink at work. I don't know what Kelly buys for here at the house.
We stay away from pops a lot. Although on the holidays, again, we have in-laws coming over or whatever, we would get pop or soda, or whatever you want to call it. It was usually, I like ginger ale. I used to love Coke and Dr. Pepper. When I was a kid, I drank that stuff like crazy, you know, but we'll still get some of that stuff too for the holidays. But now, I mean, my son's away. He's always a big advocate of pop. Today, when he called me, he was drinking a blue Mountain Dew and eating a whole pizza from Pizza Hut that he bought for himself on base there. But yeah, he loved pop, and we just don't really do it during the year too much.
We discovered the cherry Coke Zero, So it's no sugar and it's cherry Coke. So it tastes really good.
I'll do it at the Wendy's or whatever if I'm getting a combo with the family. I'll be like, what do you want to drink? Okay, I'll have a Dr. Pepper or whatever. And usually they ask you what you want to drink, and it doesn't really matter what you want to drink because it's a self-serve thing anyway. Just give me the cup, bitch. I'll go get it.
Look at Gideon's still here.
Go, Gideon, get to sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking around for my birthday. And I do want to say, since Ballistic came in, I think after the fact, somebody's shooting fireworks off now in the alley here, by the way. They had leftovers, I guess. But Ballistic, we're doing a challenge on the 2600 this week. So I know you don't have much time with your work schedule and your video production, but we're doing Spider Fighter on the 2600 for our challenge. So if you want to play, get to our Discord and post a picture of your score.
Nice. Yeah, it's getting close for me too, Pope, because my earbuds are getting where it switches back and forth. So I think my ears are going to die here shortly.
Yeah, when I get to 15% or 14%, then it just drops like that. So.
Right. All right, so I think it's a good time. Poe just revisited the console challenge. The scroll at the bottom is talking about the pinball tournament. We are on week 4 out of 5, but there's still time. If you win, you get 4 points. It can put you right back in the mix for the top spot of the 5 weeks, and then the playoffs hit. So,
and if you have been playing, do the bare minimum like me. Don't kill yourself. You'll get 1 point just for showing up, guys. I mean, I know you might feel like you need to beat everybody on there. It's probably not going to happen, at least in my case. I like to try to at least beat Derek, but I'm going to play 3 or 4 times one day until we get to we get closer. Maybe I'll play a little bit more if I get the time. So.
I was looking at the scores. Derek came in 4th the first week. He was almost in the top 3, and then he didn't even play the second week. Got a 0. So. Yeah, so there you can see on the scroll right there, that is an I, not a 1. So it's November India 7 Romeo. And get in on that. Look for it. It's the Brother in Arms table. G. Parker made it. The password for it will be the show, all one word, all lowercase. THESHOW.
Also, don't let the Gaming Road Warrior fool you with the scores that he's had since this started. Because he was one of our finalists the last time. The guy can play games. It doesn't matter what the game is. I think he's doing the same as me, where he's just playing to get that point in right now. So, don't think that he's a bottom of the lister guy, because when Mike puts his mind to it, he blows us all away at all these games.
And Gideon. Soft drink is kind of a blanket statement here for sodas and stuff like that. Some people even refer to like Kool-Aid as soft drink, but over in the States, it's a big divide between soda and pop. Right. And some people call them soda pops. They just join them. And then a lot of places, primarily in the South, they just refer to them all as Coke. So you go over to someone's house and they'll say, what kind of Coke you want? Or they'll say, you want a Coke? And then they bring you a Dr. Pepper. You're like,
so where I'm at, it's always been pop. But I knew a lot of guys in the service that called it soda, a lot of guys that called it Coke and soda pop. So whatever. Yeah. People fight about it. I don't really care, Yeah.
I'm kind of a mix. And if I was, like, if you were going to the store and you said, hey, you want anything? Well, yeah, can you pick me up a soda? That's what I would say. But when I was working at the grocery store and I had to go get the money out of the machine outside, I'd ask what it, because we had to go in pairs. I'd be like, hey, Poe, you want to go out so we can get money out of the pop machine? Right. It was a pop machine. I'd go to the pop machine to buy myself a soda.
I recently saw people fighting about this in a Gen X Facebook group. And somebody had some kind of reasoning why it's soda. I'm like, well, it's also pop, right? It's carbonated water or carbonated beverage. The bubbles are popping, so it's pop.
Right. Yeah. Usually call it, I like Ballistics. In Albuquerque, it's all Coke, but they also do Coke. So.
Well, yeah. Around here, I don't know if it's Coke anymore. That's pretty fancy for around here. It's probably meth. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's a lot of toothless people downtown.
Wow. So Gideon's never heard it referred to as pop.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty here. Yeah, people almost want to come to blows over soda or pop. It's like
It doesn't make any sense.
at the end of the day,
Foghorn Leghorn called it soda pop, so he did the best of both worlds because there was an episode where he said soda pop, watch it fizz. I say watch it fizz, and my brother tried to reenact that. We had a glass bottle of pop. I think it was Orange Crush or something like that. And at the time, my mom had this kind of bottle cap that you could put on anything to save your pop, save the carbonation. So she put this cap on this orange soda. And my brother decided to do Foghorn Leghorn. We're standing out in the kitchen. This is the early 80s. He's like, soda pop, watch it fizz. I say, watch it fizz. He's shaking it up. He didn't have his thumb on that cap, that plastic cap. It blew off, and there was orange soda pop dripping from the ceiling and the walls and everything. And I just think he probably got his butt beat and everything else for that. But it's still a funny joke in our family 40-some years later, you know.
Yeah. See, now if I'm going to refer to it as soda pop, for whatever reason, the soda part of it morphs into sody. You're going to grab me a sody pop. I don't know where I picked that up. Probably someone I knew used to say that, not meaning to be funny. And then I started making fun of him and saying, grab me a sody pop. Because I'll say that. But
all right, I don't think I might even make it to the green room here, Alfred. I'm down to 5%. My whole phone went really dim just now. So,
all right. So there you go. There you have it. I'm going to quick throw up these things. Fentanyl Towns too. We're going to get demonetized. All right. So we're going to end the show right here. And thanks for watching, all you folks that have been here throughout the whole show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Boy, Gideon, Mike's Gaming Gala, since birth. I'm going to miss people. Poe's phone is shutting down. He is out of here. Yeah. They said administer fentanyl. That's funny. Now Poe's sideways. And there it goes. He froze. Yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to go in the house. Kelly's already in bed. And it's great seeing you. Gideon, it's nice to see you again. Get you some sleep. It's got to be 2, 3 in the morning there. And, yeah, I'm just going to end it. I'm not playing an outro because it's just me. So thanks for watching. See you next week. Don't forget, Mike's Gaming Gala, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, I believe is what you said, right, Mike? So look for Mike's Gaming Gala Tuesday night. He's going to go live. I'll be there. Will you? All right. Later. Peace out, guys. Oh, I got to click end stream twice. Hang on. Here we go. Later.